Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. You know what it is. Young Thug is pleading guilty right now as we speak. We're going to break it down. I want everybody to come in. You know, somebody give me a comment. Let me make sure everything is working. Give me an emoji or something, you know, on the screen. Let's make sure everything is working. Let's make sure everything is working. All right. We're coming in live right now, just so that you know. All right. Young Thug is pleading guilty as we speak. Young Thug is pleading guilty as we speak, just so that you know. All right. Is this live? Somebody let me know if we live. Let me know where we at. All right. So I know we live. I see the comments coming in. They're a little late. Gunshots, gunshots. Young Thug's co-defendants pled guilty. Put him against the wall where he had to plead guilty. That's not a bad thing, because if they're comfortable with their plea, that's all that matters, right? And obviously they're comfortable with their plea. Now, sit back. If you subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'm going to play the intro, hit the like button, all that while the intro going on. Let's show some love, and then we're going to start with the trial. All right? You know what it is. I like the way it's going down. Now, check it out. Young Thug pleading guilty. Let me find the screen where I'm going to put this on so that y'all comfortable over here. You know what I mean? I want a little bigger joint because I want y'all to see Thug up here. All right, let's get this thing started, man. This the beginning of it. Young Thug is pleading guilty after over 15 months of going to trial. Let's hear how this thing play out. I'm going to break it down so you understand what's going on, because I've been through this same procedure, but I didn't plead guilty. Me, myself, I wouldn't have pleaded guilty except for nothing except for time served, especially right now. Young Thug, you should have went all the way out with the time served. If they don't give you time served, no need to plead guilty. But, you know, you're doing what's best for you. I'm just saying I would have took it. All right? Let's go.
Coming up here to the podium. All right, Sergeant, can you swear in Mr. Williams?
Raise your right hand. You swear firm testimony you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's your name, first and last. You might spell first and last.
Jeffrey Williams, Jeffrey, Williams.
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams.
Good afternoon.
Are you the same Jeffrey Williams indicted in case number, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, have we all signed the indictment, or are we going to do that afterwards? Because I don't have a copy of it.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't believe that we have.
We have not signed the indictment.
Okay, probably be a good idea to do that.
Does anyone have a copy? You don't? Okay.
Where's the one we were using yesterday? We'll do that in just a minute. You can go ahead with the colloquy.
And, Your Honor, we don't have the waiver form as well. I believe that the court had one.
I've got.
See, this the crap that I'm talking about. I got to cut this off. This the crap that I'm talking about. I should let it play while they're doing that, because they're not talking about nothing. Let me let it play to speed it up.
Blanks.
We don't even need to pause it. Turn the volume down on this bull crap. Miss Love right now is acting like she's running the court. And that's the thing. The prosecutors run the courtroom. That's why I can't believe Lil Woody and Monk Tunk got away with what they got away with, or thought they did. Because you see where Monk Tunk is at, they after Lil Woody next. Just so you know. Let's turn the volume back up, man. She act like she run the court. Look at this. The judge is supposed to be run the court.
And are you also known as Young Thug?
Yes.
Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication?
No.
Is there any medication that you normally take that you have not been given today?
No.
See, they got to ask him about the medication because he could come back later on an appeal and say that he was taking medication given to him from the jail and he didn't know what he was doing and he want to pull his plea back. So they make sure that you're not on no medication. You make sure that you wasn't coerced, making sure nobody was forcing you. Make sure that this is under your own will and accord. That's what you get ready to see play out. Just wanted to explain it to you so that you could feel like you was live in the courtroom.
How old are you?
33.
And how far have you gone in school?
9.
Say that one more time.
9.
Okay. Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes.
All right. Do you understand that you are charged with the following offenses? Conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, participation in criminal street gang activity, the leadership charge, participation in criminal street gang activity, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, 3 counts, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a machine gun. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. And do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to these charges, and that if you plead not guilty or remain silent, you will continue to receive a jury trial?
Yes.
All right. And have you received this waiver of rights form that I hold in my hand from your attorney and reviewed it with your attorney?
Yes.
All right. And is this your signature on the bottom of this form?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with your attorneys, Mr. Steele and Mr. Adams, about all of the facts and circumstances known to you regarding the charges in indictment 22 SC 183572, including any potential defenses?
Yes.
Do you need additional time to discuss this case with your attorneys?
No.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes.
Mr. Steele and Mr. Adams, do you on behalf of Mr. Williams waive a formal reading of this indictment?
Yes, Your Honor. We do.
And do you, Mr. Williams, waive any and all defects in this indictment, including any with respect to your name?
Yes.
Have you been arrested on these charges?
Yes.
The state is unaware of any outstanding warrants related to these charges. Do you or your attorneys know of any outstanding warrants related to these charges?
Any what?
Outstanding warrants related to any of the charges in the indictment?
No,
No.
I don't believe so either, Your Honor.
Okay. And I'm unaware of any as well, Your Honor.
I am as well.
Thank you. Have your attorneys advised you of the minimum and maximum sentence for each of the crimes that you are charged with?
Yes.
And each of the charges that you are pleading guilty to?
Yes.
Your Honor, with respect to the charges that Mr. Williams faces, count 1 carries a minimum charge of 5 years and a maximum charge of 20 years in prison, or up to a $25,000 fine, or both.
Isn't it a $15,000 fine, because wasn't it the version of the statute in effect at the time, or was that the same for RICO? Was RICO 25?
Yes,
Back?
RICO was
Okay.
25.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Count 56 carries a minimum sentence of 5 years in prison, a maximum of 20 years in prison, consecutive to any other sentence, with a fine of $10,000 to $15,000, or both.
Okay.
Count 57 carries a minimum sentence of 5 years in prison and a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Count 58 carries a minimum sentence of 1 and a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. Count 59 carries a sentence range of 5 to 30 years in prison. Count 60 carries a sentence
Hang on, slow down just a second. All right, and that's for the amount of that drug that was found on 59, 5 to 30?
That's as a result of the charge itself, I believe, with intent to distribute.
I think that 59, Your Honor, is simple possession of cocaine. I have to look at the indictment to be
I think
sure.
that's 60.
Okay.
Let me look.
Okay.
59 is codeine, and
Yes.
60 is cocaine.
Yes.
So,
Your Honor, it is with the intent to distribute, so my reading of the statute is that it carries the range of 5 to 30.
okay.
She
And
pushing
Your
it
Honor,
back.
also, as I have the indictment in my hand from Ms. Rosser, may I pass it to counsel for Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Thank you. Your Honor, with the court's permission, I'll permit time
Go
for
ahead.
them to. Okay. Count 60 carries a range of 1 to 5 years in prison. Count 61 carries a mandatory 5 years consecutive to the underlying felony. Count 62 carries a sentence of 10 years consecutive for a total maximum exposure of 120 years in prison. Were you aware of that, Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Do you understand that neither the court nor the district attorney's office has anything to do with parole or the Department of Corrections or the Board of Pardons and Paroles, and that if you are sentenced to confinement in the Georgia Department of Corrections, no one can guarantee parole?
You can say yes.
Well,
She asked you, do you say that?
Oh,
you
yes,
can
yes,
guarantee
ma'am.
parole?
Your Honor, may I allow Mr. Williams time to finish signing the indictment?
That's 120 years that he's opening himself up to. So obviously him and Brian Steele got a good deal in the back. All this is just a bunch of legal jargon to make it look good. He already know what he is going to get because, you know, that's the way it go. And they say leave it up to the court. And he ain't dumb, so I know he going to get a sweet deal. So we're going to watch all this all the way through. He's signing the indictment, got to sign the papers because right now he's signing his life away. Because whatever they give him, his life and liberty is going to be in the hands of the Department of Corrections for Georgia. Now, here goes Miss Love. Come on, girl.
Your Honor, with permission, may I approach with a member of Mr. Williams' team?
You may.
See, what's going on right here is they didn't come to any type of agreement, but the judge obviously stepped in and told them straight up what time it is. The judge said, look, right, let me bring this up. Let me bring me up big. The judge came in and said, look, this is going on too long, too pled guilty. You know he's a gangster. You know he's going all the way out. Stop this charade. You're going to lose the trial. You're going to lose everything. It already cost too much money for us to go forward, losing 2, to go with 1 when you already look like crap going with 3, Miss Love. So you need to make a plea. So what she did is, her pride is so strong that she said that she's not going to sit there and allow him to get away. So she said, I'm not going to recommend no sentence. I'm going to leave it up to you. Because the judge told him straight up, give that man a plea that he could live with so we could be done with this. That's what the judge told him in the back, and that's what they're dealing with up there, that they didn't agree to nothing from the door. Somewhere they agreed with something, and somewhere it kind of buck heads. When it buck heads, that's when they said, oops, you know, we can't come to agreement. That's why they call it a non-negotiated plea, because they couldn't come to agreement. Let's get this trial started back. You see how we rock this at the Mecca? You know? Now, here go Miss Love. Come on, girl. I like that. All right, let me get out Miss Love way. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Y'all ain't coming in for nothing. The Cash App on the screen, you don't want to use that? The like button is free.
Mr. Williams, do you understand that this is a non-negotiated plea of guilty?
See,
And that
non-negotiated.
since your guilty plea is a blind plea or a non-negotiated plea, the state is making a recommendation of sentencing to the court.
See, right there, right? It's a non-negotiated plea. She ain't supposed to make no sentence. She's supposed to say whatever. But she's still going to recommend her sentence, but now they're going to leave it up to the judge, so I guess she's not supposed to be able to rebut, but Miss Love can't just shut the F up, so she's going to have to rebut. Let's see how Miss Love play this.
Notwithstanding the fact that this is a blind plea. You understand that, Mr. Williams? Okay. And Mr. Williams, were you aware of the state's previous offer that was turned down prior to your making this non-negotiated plea?
Yes.
All right. And Your Honor, at this time, the state is making a recommendation of 45 years with 25 to serve in custody, followed by 20 on probation, subject to the special requirements of 1615 the gang statute.
No way would she
All
give
right,
him that.
and do you want to break down for me what your recommended sentence on each count is?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is recommending on count 1, 5 years to serve. Count 56, 20 years to serve consecutively to count 1.
Consecutively means, so you understand, that means separate. That means he got to serve 5 years and then do 20 years. That makes it a total of 25 years, where if it was concurrent, it'll be 5 years plus 25 years running together. The 20 eats up the 5, so the 5 is being eaten into the 20. So all you serve is 20 instead of 25. But if you notice, he's asking for all this consecutive sentences. That's running it up crazy. She already asked for 2 sentences consecutive, right? I'm going to let this joint play because we ride. See, that's why when I went to trial, right, I fired 3 of my, let me get up here. I got to get up here. Now I want y'all to see Young Thug. I fired 3 of my lawyers for coming back to relay what the prosecutor, which is the government attorney, which is equivalent to Miss Love, had to say to me. My thing is, I'm a gangster. We ain't got nothing to talk about. Give me the discovery. Let's go to trial. And then I fight it on appeal. I don't want no misconstruing of anything. So I went all the way. Because these prosecutors are so dirty that even though she knows she's, well, allegedly dirty, let me say it like that. They so allegedly dirty that even though she's taking his guilty plea, she's still trying to shove it to him and give him the max, talking about consecutive running things, but we call it bow-legged. When you say consecutive sentence in the feds, that's how we giving you it. Even in a lot of states, it's called bow-legged because you got to serve one over here and then one over here. You don't serve the 2 together, which is concurrent, which is your legs crossed. Like, yo, you judge cross your legs? Yeah, he ran it together. All right, he crossed your legs. See how y'all learn these tools? That's why the Cash App on the screen. You got an issue with the Cash App? Use the like button.
Count 57, 5 years of probation to serve consecutively to count 56. Count 58, 10 years of probation to serve concurrently with count 57.
Now she ran the 10 together.
Count 59, 5 years of probation to serve concurrently with count 57
Okay, she
and
ran
58.
that concurrent too. That's together.
Count 60, 5 years of probation concurrent with count 57, 58, and 59. Count 61, 5 years of probation consecutive to count 57. And count 62, 10 years of probation consecutive to count 61.
All right, thank you.
How many likes we
Mr.
got in there? How
Williams,
many
did you
likes? Hit them
discuss
like
the
button.
state's previous offer with your attorneys?
Yes.
All right, and so we're all clear that we're talking about the same thing. Can you put what the state's previous offer was on the record for me, please?
I can, Your Honor.
Thank you.
The state's previous offer was a total of 43 years with 20 years, 5 years to serve on count 56, commuted to time served, followed by 15 years on probation. On count 58, the sentence was 10 years to serve in the Georgia Department of Corrections, consecutive to count 56. Count 59 was 3 years to serve in the Georgia Department of Corrections, consecutive to counts 56 and 58. Count 60 was 5 years to serve in the Georgia Department of Corrections, consecutive to counts 56, 58, and 59. Count 61 was 5 years to serve in the Georgia Department of Corrections, consecutive to counts 56, 58, 59, and 60.
Was that the entirety of
No.
what the sentence was?
No, Your Honor,
I mean, I
I'm
know
still
there were
reading.
special conditions, so y'all were
There
going
are.
to null pros,
We,
what,
yeah,
1
yeah.
and 62?
Yes, as part
Okay.
of the recommended sentence, in exchange for the defendant agreeing to the special conditions that we asked the court to impose, the state was willing to null pros count 1, count 57, and count 62.
Okay, and then all of that consecutive to the probation, that was going to be what we call backloaded, and what were y'all proposing with regard to that, since it was
The
going to
total-
follow the probated sentence?
The total sentence was 43 years to serve, with the first 5 years in prison commuted to time served, followed by 15 years on probation, followed by 23 years in prison, which would have been served in confinement, except that if defendant had complied with the special conditions of probation imposed as part of this sentence, the backloaded portion of defendant's sentence would have been commuted. However, should defendant had violated any special condition of probation within the first 15 years of his sentence, his probated sentence would have immediately been revoked, and he would have been required to serve the entire remainder of his sentence confined to the Georgia Department of Corrections.
All right, so as long as he had successfully completed his 15 years of probation, the 23 years that was going to follow it was going to be commuted to time served, as long as his probation was successful. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor,
Okay.
and the special with the court.
All right. Let me explain that. I got to make sure my people know what's going on, because that's how we do it over here at the Mecca. What she's saying is that he got to serve 15 years clean on probation. And if he served the 15 years, which they highly doubt, you know, it's like going through not getting arrested for 15 years when the police is going to have a target. You see his back right there? There's a bullseye on his back down there in Georgia. So within the next 15 years, it's going to be a race to pick him up for something. Hopefully catch him slipping with a guard you now, which I know he knows better than, but that's what they hoping on. That's what they banking on, that he get caught with a gun or he get caught with something, so that they can revoke his probation and then give him that 23 years. They don't think he could successfully complete, or he will. They don't think he will successfully complete the 15 years clean, so they got the 23 hanging over his back. Let's get back to this and see how this party ride.
Like for us to.
No, I was really more interested in the length of sentence and what y'all had. I know you didn't reach agreement, but y'all, that's what the last offer had been, with, of course, a bunch of special conditions, which.
You heard what she said? We know you didn't reach any agreement. In other words, this crazy sentence that she's proposing, he said, stick it in your, Miss Love. All right.
I guess is where the hang-up is. I don't know.
Right, defendant did not want to agree to the special conditions.
Let's get them likes up, 2,000 people. Come on now.
Mr.
Yes, Your
Steele
Honor.
and
It would have
Mr.
been,
Adams.
yes.
Get
Your
them
Honor,
likes
Mr.
up.
Williams would have been released today for 15 years on probation if he successfully completes that probation. then he would not have to go to custody. If he did not, he'd face probation revocation as well as 23 years, as the court said, backloaded in the Georgia prison system. But we could not come to terms on all the conditions that the district attorney was insisting upon.
Okay.
You see, that's what I just spoke on. See, I didn't even see this yet. Now we rolling live with you. That's what Mr. Steele is saying. Like, yo, you crazy. You trying to put 15 years. He said, I was not going to stipulate to my sentence going 15 years without any police contact. Picture Young Thug after all this going back to Atlanta and going 15 years with no police contact. Let me know how many in the live. Let's get these likes up. Could we get these likes up? Don't let me have to fire my gunshots, man. All right? Get them likes up, man. Let's get this party going.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Love.
Okay. And Mr. Williams, were you aware of that previous offer as well as all of the requirements that that offer would have entailed?
Yes.
Okay. And had you had enough time to discuss that particular offer with your attorneys?
Yes.
All right.
And I told my attorney to tell her to shove it up her. I just had to add that in. You know what I mean? My bag for being a gangster channel. Matter of fact, let me get it right past this 3 seconds to tap out. All right. You already know. Take that with you on the way out. Let's get this party going.
The previous one?
The previous offer. Do you understand that the court can impose any sentence authorized by law, including a higher sentence than that recommended by the state, up to the maximum sentence on each charge in this indictment?
She praying that the court give him the max on the joint. But of course he understands.
Do you understand that, Mr. Williams? Do you understand that if you enter into a non-negotiated plea, you do not have a right to withdraw your plea once the sentence has been announced?
Yes.
See, that means that he already know what the sentence is going to be because the judge said, look, this is what the judge said. Hold on, let me come up here real close and personal real quick, man. I got to come up close and personal. The judge said straight like this. He said, look, Young Thug, you want to go home, right? Don't worry about what she's saying. I run the court. You plead guilty and lay yourself to the mercy of the court. And I'm going to bless you. But let's just get this over. Don't pay attention, Miss Love. This is not Judge Suge Knight Glanville's court. This is the Honorable Miss Whitaker's court. So you could safely plead guilty here. And I got your back because I saw how crazy this trial was and how everyone tried to help you. So that means you're a good man. We got 2,772 in the back. 513 likes. Could we get the likes up to 1,000? At least give me a G in the likes. Don't cost nothing. Cash App on the screen. Send me some money if you don't want to hit the like for free. All right. Let's get this thing back moving, man. I'm glad y'all enjoying the commentary and the fun I'm having, or we're having together.
Do you understand that this is a guilty plea which is permanently recorded on your criminal history?
Yes.
Do you understand that this plea may be used to enhance sentencing on other convictions in this jurisdiction as well as in other jurisdictions, including in the federal courts?
Yes.
See, that I didn't like. Because now they're saying that it can enhance his sentence in other jurisdictions. That's one thing. They can't try him to get another state job. But they could try him in the feds. So if they try him in the feds, all this that they're using, now they'll be able to say, well, you pled guilty over here, so you had this charge over here, you had this sentence over here, you had this prior conviction, so therefore we're going to enhance your sentence, which means move it up. We're going to raise your sentence based on the plea that you're taking right now today if something happened in the federal court with you in the future. But the feds is looking. Don't think they're not. Now, let's ride. Let's ride. I give Brian Steele a round of applause. I give Brian Steele a round of applause. Let's get them likes up. We up to 726. Let's get them up. I love the way the people listen, and I listen because I'm giving y'all the content y'all want. Let's get this thing moving, all right? Now, Brian Steele is sitting there, and he's saying to himself, right? I was willing to sit in a jail cell with my client to fight for him. Brian Steele is one of the best attorneys I've ever seen in my life, and I know for a fact Brian Steele argued. I don't know if he won that argument, but I know he argued. And we're going to find this out later in time. And it's a key piece of evidence that they're not going to tell you on none of the other crime shows, right? But Brian Steele argued that the feds can't pick up this case. But I don't like, hit them like buttons, but I don't like, hit them like buttons, but I don't like, hit them like buttons, but I don't like the fact that she actually sat there and said that his sentence can be enhanced in the feds by these charges, which is just common protocol, because if he go out and get a brand new case, then they could use it. But if the feds pick up this case, it's so crazy that they could use everything in this case as what they call overt acts that you have been hearing throughout the course of these different programs. But I'm going to break down to you what overt act is, and all I'm charging you is a like. Hit the like button, and we all Gucci. Now, they sitting there, and Brian Steele had to argue about the feds not picking up this case. But overt acts is something that they could use because in the federal case, because they could say that there's no guilty verdict warranted on an overt act. So being that there's no guilty verdict warranted on an overt act, we could use them just to show that the overt acts was what took place over the course of the scheme of the conspiracy. You already know what the scheme is. 3,155 people in here. Let's see the likes. 814. We trying to get to 1,000. All right? And the number got to go up. The numbers is going up on y'all coming in. Y'all getting the best commentary. I don't even do lives like that. You know what I mean? Just my people been saying, come on, you hit the people, man. So I'm hitting the people. Round of applause to my crew. All right, relax, y'all, relax. Let me get back, relax. Let me get back to this. Now, so you know what overt acts are and about her saying how the feds could use it. I'm going to get to the comments, keep putting them up. We're going to read them at the end. The phone number is going to come up on the screen. Don't call now. After this, then we could do the phone call. Someone is calling now. Let me tell them, y'all, we're getting ready to finish this program, and then we're going to do the calling at the end. All right, homie? All right. Let me get them off. Got it. So you got to be respectable when you run the joint, because you won't be treated the same way you expect to be treated.
Do you understand that if you are currently on probation or parole, your probation or parole may be revoked based on your entering a guilty plea today?
I'm not on probation.
Okay, so you're not on
If you
probation.
were on probation, but if you're not, then it doesn't matter.
Okay. Do you understand that if you are placed on probation of any kind by this?
Yo, family, I just told you, we're doing a live. I was going to take the calls at the end. You want to say something real quick? I'll answer. All right, that's what I'm saying. Come on now. Y'all see me on here, so don't call right now. The number's on the screen right now, 917-680-9091. We will be answering it. Please be patient. Thank you for the likes. We up to 814, the last count. 3,156 in the room. Share this video. Let them know we got the real live commentary going on, where you getting it broken down from someone that spent 26 years in the belly of the beast. We at 33,554. Going to report the likes in about 5 seconds. But let's get this back.
Court. You cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit or any special conditions of probations without being subject to revocation for the balance of the sentence the court imposes.
Yes, I know.
Do you understand that you are not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you are not a United States citizen, a guilty plea conviction will affect your immigration status and will result in deportation, just like a conviction at a trial would, and that this is true regardless of any advice by your attorney or anyone else?
Yes.
Do you understand that neither the court, your attorney, nor the district attorney's office has anything to do with parole, and the Department of Corrections or Board of Pardons and Paroles, and that no one can guarantee parole no matter what anyone has told you?
Yes.
Do you understand that there may be other adverse or unfavorable consequences as a result of this guilty plea conviction, just as there would be from a conviction following a trial? For example, your guilty plea may affect the right to vote, the right to hold public office, the right to serve on a jury, the right to obtain a passport, the
Hold on. Did she say right to hold public office? Isn't 45 running for presidency after he's been found guilty of a crime? I'm just saying, just a question. Let's get back to this. I just wanted to ask. They said he can't run for office, but he's running for the president. Let's talk about it.
right to receive, possess, or transport a firearm, or the ability to obtain employment. Do you understand that, Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty to a felony, if you use, receive, possess, or transport a firearm, or if you use a firearm in a crime, you will be guilty of a felony, which may carry a sentence of up to 1 to 15 years in prison?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get it going.
Do you understand that you waive any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses, by entering a plea of guilty?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you went to trial, you would have the right to that if you continued at trial, rather, you would continue to have the right to a trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and confront witnesses called to testify against you, and the right to testify or to remain silent and not incriminate yourself? Do you understand all of those things?
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are giving up the following rights? The right to a trial by jury. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself.
Yes.
The right to confront witnesses against you.
Yes.
The right to continued assistance of counsel hired by you or to court-appointed counsel if you cannot afford an attorney at the continued trial of your case.
Yes.
The right to the presumption of innocence.
Yes.
The right to testify on your own behalf and to present other evidence.
Yes.
The right to subpoena witnesses and compel the production of evidence.
Yes.
Yo, you got the right to hit that like button too, man. It's free. But the Cash App is up there. I don't care if it's $1, $5, or whatever. Send me something if you don't want to hit the free like button. You can send me $1 if you don't want to hit the free like button. The like button is free. Let's keep this thing moving, all right? Let's be respectable here. All right, as Joe Pesci says. Good fellas.
The right to have the charges against you proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes.
The right to appeal if convicted of these charges after a trial. Do you understand?
Yes.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter a guilty plea?
No.
See, she had to ask him that, right? Because if he get a plea that he don't like, he can't come back and say, Mr. Steele said I was going to get 7 years. Or Mr. Steele said I was going to get time served. Or the judge said I was going to get time served. The judge said I was going to get. So that's why she asked him, did anyone promise you anything? And I want to take the time to give you all a round of applause because we hit 1,000 likes. That's what I'm talking about. Make me want to do a live. Relax, y'all, relax. But make me want to do a live. You know what I mean? Show me you like when I'm doing a little bit of something.
Is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Well, Your Honor, may I interject?
You may.
Your Honor, on count 1, which is the racketeering conspiracy count, Mr. Williams is tendering a plea under nolo contendere. As to count 56, which is participation in a criminal street gang activity as being a leader or a supervisor or organizer, Mr. Williams is also tendering a plea to this honorable court as under nolo contendere. The balance of the counts, so he is tendering a guilty plea.
Ooh, Brian Steele couldn't wait to put that in. Let me explain to y'all what that meant. Y'all need to hit the like button for this now. I'm getting ready to break this down. Brian Steele is letting them know that for the RICO count and that gang count you got, he's pleading a no contendo, meaning I don't know what you talking about. I'm just pleading guilty. I don't know what is going on. Y'all need to hit the like button. I just gave y'all some jewels. Cash App is on the screen if you don't want the free like button. All right, Susan Feinberg, what's up? I already see you. Killer Cow, what up? You know what I mean? We're going to get back to this thing, man, all right? Living in my, laughing out loud. You know what I mean? Let's get this thing moving. But Brian's still waiting. Brian's still gonna get his chance to talk. But he just interjected to let her know that you talking about this RICO charge and he's the leader, organizer, supervisor, because if he wouldn't have done that, then the judge would have been able to give him like 4 points, you know what I mean, to enhance his sentence for being the leader or organizer, meaning he's the head, the king of this joint. So what he did was pull it back. Cash App is on the screen. Could we see some, what they call it, super chat love? Being that, you know, y'all playing, oh, my bad. Y'all up to 1,100 likes. I got it set up with the Cash App. My bad.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
would the court like to hear from the state or not?
About the NOLO issues?
Yes, yes.
Now
sure.
she's going to try and push
Your
that
Honor, the
gang in
state,
RICO.
asked that the court not accept a NOLO plea and require either a guilty plea or a not guilty plea as to these charges.
Ooh, that's
All right.
deep.
I'm going to permit a NOLO plea as to counts 1 and 56.
Woo! You see what she did? She tried to get it open so she could enhance his sentence. So if the judge want to give him something here, by them not taking a non-controldo, then they would be able to raise the sentence up there. So the judge is like, yo, I want to be done with this. Your trial is trash. You made a mockery of yourself. You made a mockery of my chief judge, Suge Knight Glanville. Got him kicked off looking like trash. Got me looking like I'm the head honcho over here in Georgia because I had to clean up the mess that you did with Glanville. Don't forget Glanville, y'all. She's totally disrespected Glanville's courtroom. And look how Miss Whitaker got her in check. So she said, nah, we ain't going to do that, not accept the non-contendo, because I don't want him to stop in the middle of the trial because he still have a right now before the sentence is rendered to say, oops, they don't want to agree. I'm taking it back. The judge trying to get this over with. You're not going to enhance him for nothing. And let's get this right. Good looking to M. Clark. Good looking M. Clark. Round of applause to M. Clark. At least somebody know how the game is played. Hold on. Relax. Cause you know we do all types of game over here, right? Now let me explain something to you so you understand. I come from the era where it's called the game is supposed to be sold, not told. Y'all getting all this free game up here for 1,200 likes. I'm satisfied. But at the same time, those that could afford it, show some love. Look how nice my screen is. Let me show you some of this good stuff that, you know, I want to thank everybody for their Cash App. Look what we done got hooked up over here. You know what I mean? I'm bringing you the best content from your donations, and I appreciate that. And I want you to know we got another one. You know, we also got this right here. You see, I create all types of things. Then I could bring it down here, right, and show y'all something, right? Look at this. Let's say it's a breaking news. I could yell breaking news. You know what I mean? All day. I could yell breaking news. Just so you understand how it is. And here go my other breaking news joint. We're going to get back to the trial. I want to thank everybody with a round of applause for your donation. I know a lot, hold, relax. I know a lot of people say, why he asked for a donation? Some old rat bastard had the nerve to say I sound like Reverend Ike. Reverend Ike, listen, right? When you giving game, the game is supposed to be sold, not told. Everyone from the street know that. Everyone from the street know that. So we're not even going to play that game. You know what I mean? But then you get these rat bastards that try and jump in, interact, and try and say that fly stuff like this ain't worth donating your Cash App. There's got to be somebody with no game, or either they just a straight rat bastard. You know what I mean? But let's get this thing moving. We're going to take it back over here. I got all types of stuff, and I know how to run all this now because I learned all this for you, just so that you understand. Let's go back to the main scene and start this video with this sentence.
All right. Mr. Williams,
The like button is free.
as to count 57, participation in criminal street gang activity, how do you plead?
No contender.
As to count 58, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to count 59, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to count 60, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to count 61, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And as to count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, how do you plead?
No law.
As to count 56, participation in criminal street gang activity under the leadership charge, how do you plead?
Nolo.
I think you didn't ask about count 62.
As to count, thank you, Your Honor. As to count 62, possession of a machine gun, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty to the offenses you have indicated because you are in fact guilty of these charges?
Yes.
All right. Are your guilty pleas and your NOLO pleas freely and voluntarily given with the full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes.
Do you understand that you may have only a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have only 4 years from today's date for a felony charge, and 12 months from today's date you don't have a misdemeanor charge, but to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness and constitutionality of this guilty plea?
Yes.
Your Honor, also, do you...
You have
my-
30 days from
I was-
today to file a direct appeal from this guilty plea, and until the end of this term of court to file a motion seeking to withdraw the guilty plea, which does not mean it would be granted, but that's the time period, okay?
What's a direct appeal?
Well, you can talk to your attorneys more about it, but it would be up to one of the, like the Court of Appeals, I think is where this one would go. Those are just the time periods.
And Your Honor, the state, in addition to the sentence we are asking that the court to impose,
Okay.
we would also be asking the court to require or to forfeit, have defendant forfeit all of the property that has been seized and that is currently being held, that was found or recovered or taken from his home after it was searched on May 9th.
Do you have any kind of list of what that property is? I mean, I'm not familiar with what was seized.
And Your Honor,
We
we're not
do, and
agreeing.
that-
Oh, I know, I mean, I assume y'all aren't agreeing to anything.
We're not
that you
agreeing
would
to that.
present it as.
Y'all. All right, I was muted, but at least I was talking. Let's keep it moving. What I'm saying is I'm getting ready to give you a ride that you won't believe. Let me speed it up, let you know what you missed, because all this is not, you know what I mean, no scripted joint. It's premeditated because it's already in my head because I already stood where Young Thug is standing. What's going on is they're trying to seize his property the same way they're trying to seize Diddy's property. So the prosecutor's saying they want to forfeit the property that they already seized. When they get your property at the beginning, it's called seizing the property. That just means I got it, now you come get it. And he's saying, I'm coming to get it. The prosecutor expected him to say, you get half the property. You get half the property. But he's like, oh no, I work hard for that property. I just want to know how many likes I got, how many, somebody put in the comments how many likes and how many things. We need to get these likes up. But anyway, that's the same thing they're doing with Diddy. Do you know that they charge Diddy with the RICO the same way they charge Young Thug with so that they can forfeit his property for the SA charges? But then they charge Amoncroft with the same charge, but they don't charge him with a RICO, and they don't have anything in it to seize Amercroft's many department stores or the bags for the retired CEOs. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, send me the new count. But anyway, so that's what's going on. The lawyer said, no, we don't agree to you keeping the property you got. We don't agree to it. So obviously they worked something out with the judge because we talking about a lot of money. And Young Thug got to pay Brian Steele for 15 months of his time. By the hour. And Brian Steele getting that back per hour. So you understand. All right, good looking out. Who is that? Deontay. Detone. You know what I mean? Rucker. We got 114. 1,400 likes. Let's get the likes up. We had 4,000. Let's get this up to 2,000. We're supposed to have half of what we got. Let's keep it going. Y'all getting too much good game over here. They want Young Thug's houses and properties. He ain't going for it. We ain't going for it. Bad enough you got him going through this mess after you know that it's some crap. And then now you're going to sit here and say you want the man's property after you done took his life and liberty for the last 15 months. And you're going to give him time. And you're trying to give him 20 years with 43 years in the back. If he served the 15 years probation, then you'll drop 23 out the 4. You full of crap. Come on, man. Let's get this party started.
It's a negotiated plea.
We're not. But we do have a list of the
All right.
property items.
Do you have it where available right now?
Yes, actually, would the court permit us to send it electronically?
Sure,
Because
that's fine.
Let's
And
get it
then,
up there. Hit them like
that
buttons.
is not imposed as a condition. Is it just get litigated as like any forfeiture matter?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it would be litigated later
It's
on.
forfeiture time.
civil separate filing
Okay.
in this court. It's not related to the criminal.
All right.
It's related case, but it's unrelated.
Understood.
All right, I'm going to explain that to show you how much I've been dealing with it. Because they tried to seize so much property from me. But me, myself, I wasn't in a power position like Young Thug. So I just told them, you know what? Whatever you took, I don't know nothing about it. You keep it. Go check my transcript. My case is 93 F3D. I ain't got nothing to hide. And that's why they ain't make no movie about me. That's why they scared to talk to me, because they know I'm the real deal. They don't want the real deal. They want the Diddy deal. You know what I mean? They want the people that's faking to be something that they not. They don't want the men that's who they are. So y'all need to share these videos to the powers that be that got the bag. Let them know the government took my bag, because I wasn't in a position like Young Thug to fight for my bag. You know what I mean? So only way to get out of jail was to let it go. Now I'm going to take you on a ride with the forfeiture. Let me take you on a ride with the forfeiture. The forfeiture went like this, right? While I'm going to trial, when they arrested me, I had about $80,000 in jewelry on, right? They take the jewelry, they wrote down that it was worth 15. The prosecutor from New York that arrested me, I ain't gonna say her name yet, but I love her to death because she was a hell of she was a workhorse when it came to a prosecutor, and it was a game of cops and robbers, and I was the robber, and I got caught, so I can't get mad that I got caught. I can't tell on my comrade that I got caught. So any one of you rat bastards, and I saw a video today, right, because I'm pissed off. Just thinking about this got me pissed. I saw a video today that somebody made a video and they actually put in the title, and I was going to do a video to really get on it, but I don't like to disrespect nobody or, like that, but I gotta speak on this, man. They made a video saying, Little Dirk is snitching. That's the ultimate disrespect. They need many gunshots. But even insinuate that. That's the ultimate disrespect to put snitching with a man. The ultimate disrespect is to put snitching with a man. When a rat bastard do it, it don't count, because you always ask yourself, who's the messenger? What's his purpose? The rat bastard's purpose is they're trying to pull you in a rat category like them. So you don't pay a rat enough. A rat don't have a voice. Period. A rat don't have a voice. You tell on anybody dead, alive, born, not born, gonna be born, you don't have a voice. You forfeit everything that happened. And that's no shot at nobody. I'm just telling y'all the rules, because that's what we do over here at Unique Mecca Audio, man. We tell y'all the rules. Once you testify and you play them games, it's a wrap. We got 1,500 in the likes. Get them likes up before I got to fire these gunshots. All right, let's get this party going. But anyway, so where I'm at is the ride I was going to give you. They take all this jewelry from me, right? Thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. And the prosecutor, she came all the way from New York and she's testifying against me. And she's sitting there, she's wearing my jewelry on her neck. And I'm looking at her. And every time she moved, the diamonds is glistening and got me feeling like I'm back in the club again. So while she's on the stand testifying about how I was so intelligent and I had Mecca audio jumping where I had the light socket hooked up with a soda can and a chain from the windowsill going through the socket down to the store behind the pipe and up, so when they run in the store and try and get the weed, they couldn't get the weed because the money was already sent up behind the socket, behind the pipe, through the chain connected to the windowsill to the soda can. And he's just the smartest trigger I ever met. And that's why you need to find him guilty. You see, I just ran that down because that's my life. Y'all run that back and you understand what I said. And it didn't miss a beat, you know? But when they did that, right, they took all my joints. But at the end of the trial was weak, like Young Thug's trial. So now it was time to have what they call a forfeiture trial. First of all, Young Thug is going to have a trial. Him fighting this, he's supposed to have what they call a forfeiture trial unless the judge agree to the forfeiture in his plea, which she's going to do because she just want to be done with it. But me, being that I went to trial, I was supposed to go through a whole nother trial that I was supposed to go to defend not my life and liberty, not my freedom, not for me getting life plus 20. After I got life plus 20, I'm supposed to go to trial to fight for the property, for the life of the property, to keep it in my name. I told him, keep that crap. But you got $1 million worth of property? I was on some, I wiped my ass with $1 million. Do you know who I am? So when they said, if I would have fight to get back $1 million, I'm like, yo, I gave away $1 million to get my brother out of jail. And we ran off and never went back to court. You know what I mean? Gave y'all $1 million and left it. You know what I mean? So what makes you think I'm going to go here and fight for a lousy $1 million right now? And if I would have went to fight for that $1 million, other things would have came out in that forfeiture trial that they could have used in my direct appeal that wasn't mentioned in my direct trial. So being it wasn't mentioned in my direct trial, it couldn't be used in my direct appeal. But if I went to forfeiture trial, they could have used what was mentioned in forfeiture trial in my direct appeal, which would have been more ammunition for them to put the nail in the coffin. So I had to think, do I want to wipe my ass with this little $1 million? You know what I mean? I wouldn't even call that a loss at the time. I laughed at it. I just said $1 million. You want $1 million worth of property? Take it. They're like, Diddy, cold disrespect to the court. Diddy said, I give you $50 million to let me go. But you just gave Cassie allegedly $100 million. And you want just to keep quiet. And for you to gain your freedom, you only want to give $50 million? Cold disrespect to the federal courts of New York. Hit that like button. What my likes like? I want 2,000 likes before I get off here. I'm just going to dump it right now. You know what I mean? I ain't even going to show the sentence if I can't get up to my 2,000 likes. Y'all getting too much good content, man. All right, let's go. So that's where we at. So I didn't fight for my forfeiture. He's fighting for his forfeiture. What he's going to fight with the judge because the judge is going to, they leaving everything in the judge's hands. So it's all going to be up to the judge if they keep his property or not. So he's making out pretty good. Let's go back.
And we are sending that to Your Honor.
Thank you.
At this time. And as it relates to the conditions of a conviction under 1615-4, Your Honor, we would ask, or as part of the sentence, defendant would be required to adhere to the requirements, the sentencing requirements of the gang statute, which at least in part require that he not associate with any gang members whatsoever. And I can read the rest of that into the record if the court requires, or I can continue with the factual basis.
All right, and let me ask you, because I know that at least while y'all were negotiating, one of the things that I guess was being negotiated was some exception for, I think, somebody that is contractually obligated on his record label. Is that something that the state would still be in agreement to?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
All right. Your Honor, as part of the requirements of 1615-4,
Yes.
defendant would, one moment, Your Honor. Under 1615.4, in addition to any other penalty provided by the code section, all sentences imposed under the code section shall require as a special condition of the sentence that the person sentenced shall not knowingly
Slow
have...
down just a tad, because there's a court reporter taking it down. And when we start reading, we read really fast. So go ahead.
Like button, y'all. Like button. Let's get it up.
This code section shall
Follow me on
require
Instagram,
as a
Unique
special
Mecca Audio,
condition of
Cash
the
App up there if you
sentence
don't
that
want to
the
do the
person
free like button.
sentenced shall not knowingly have contact of any kind or character with any other member or associate of a criminal street gang, shall not participate in any criminal gang activity, and in cases involving a victim, shall not knowingly have contact of any kind or character with any such victim or any member of any such victim's family or household. So that is, and we've listed in our indictment the victims of the crimes, the overt acts that have been committed, and under the basic conspiracy law, those are the victims that we are naming. Your Honor, as this case has been tried and would continue to be tried until the state completed its case in chief, the evidence has shown that the defendant, throughout the time between 2013 to 2022, conspired with both indicted and unindicted co-conspirators to participate in the enterprise known as Young Slime Life, or YSL, through a pattern of racketeering activity. Throughout that time, multiple conspirators, both indicted and unindicted, and including the defendant, have committed overt acts intended to further the enterprise itself. With regard to the defendant, as far back, the evidence has shown, as 2013, the defendant, along with other YSL founding members, Walter Murphy, for one, committed an aggravated assault and armed robbery against a Derek Dotson. The court has heard evidence of that presented through Adrian Bean, who was a co-conspirator in that particular act. The armed robbery of an Archillian Bennett back in 2013. As alleged in the indictment, defendant and unindicted and indicted co-conspirators committed acts to further YSL that included drug sales, aggravated assault, and murder. They used and furthered, rather, this conspiracy by using social media posts and music to assert the violent nature of and the dominance of Young Slime Life, which is also known as YSL. The defendant is charged with being a leader of the gang YSL, and evidence has been presented by accomplices and co-founders of YSL, Trontavious Stevens and Walter Murphy, and evidence would have been presented, in the words of the defendant himself, that the defendant, as shown by some of his own social media postings, was the founder, one of the founders of YSL, along with Mr. Stevens and Mr. Murphy. YSL formed, according to the evidence that has come out in this trial, in 2012, 2013, under the former version of the name of the gang called Rock Crew, or Raised on Cleveland.
Hey, let me explain this to y'all, right? Refresh the screen. Let me know how many likes I got. We need to get these likes up to 2,000, man. Could we get another 300? We at 1,700. Let me say this, right, so y'all understand. Y'all ain't gonna get these type of jewels. Follow me on Instagram at Unique Mecca Audio. So on the screen above. Cash App is up there. If you don't want to hit the like button, the Cash App is there. I'm cool with the like button. Now, what they're saying, right? He's pointing out to the judge that he's one of the leaders. He's one of the forefathers. This is what it is. Therefore, when you got a black man that can unite and bring people together and move 5 or more people around, that means they have the potential to move 50 or more around. That means they have the potential with that 50 to move 150 around. And the number goes higher, where if that number decides to come together like Diddy did, I might show that video. Because y'all don't know the reason why they're going at Diddy. Everybody going at him. At the end of all of this, everybody is hating Diddy. I understand that. But you got to look at the messenger. Look at why they're going at Diddy. Diddy said he was trying to start his own black Republican Party. Gunshots. Stay in your place, little nigga. Oh, stay in your place, little trigger. Stay in your place. That's what they telling them. Stay in your place. Now, Young Thug being able to allegedly start this gang and make these moves like he did, he's a danger to the powers that be, because if he get enough people behind him, he could start what they call a coup. See how y'all learn words here? That's why the Cash App is up there. Hit the logo, make sure it says it was created in 2020. Or you can do the super chat. But that's where we at. Hit the like button. Where my likes at, man? Can I get these likes up? It don't cost nothing for a like. I don't understand why we only got 1,700 likes, 4,500 people. You know what I mean? And we're sitting here with 1,700 likes. Cold disrespect and a smack to Unique's face. Let's get this thing moving. All right, let's go back. Hit that like button.
The court has heard evidence of the 2014 and 2015 incidents that have involved conflicts between YSL members and IF gang members that included someone shooting the window of Mr. Williams' car and armed individuals rushing outside during shootings at Club Crucial to ensure Mr. Williams' safety, shootings at a place called the Dugout where armed individuals rushed to ensure Mr. Williams' safety, shootings at Mr. Kelvin Watts committed by members of YSL, communication with members of YSL after those incidents, and ultimately the murder of Donovan Thomas at the hands of members of YSL. The evidence has shown and will show that on January 10th of 2015, members of YSL drove a car rented by the defendant, a gray Infiniti, and drove past Mr. Thomas as he stood outside of a barber shop congregating with friends, and unloaded an array of bullets on Mr. Thomas, hitting him, his Chevrolet Tahoe, and 2 other persons in the process. Mr. Thomas died from those bullets. Phone records show that communication was held between Mr. Williams, Mr. Kelvin Treadwell, Mr. Demise McMullen, corroborating accomplice testimony that has been presented in this courtroom regarding what happened, who committed the murder, and what happened to the guns and the vehicles that were used in the murder. After the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., the members of YSL responsible for the murder and members of YSL who were not responsible for the murder congregated at Mr. Williams' condominium called the Sky House, and they all made plans and later either drove or flew down to Miami. Prior factual acknowledgments by members of YSL include that Mr. Williams gave each of the persons who accompanied him to Miami money to lay low as they left the city following the murder of Mr. Thomas.
See, that's the man took his homies with him to Miami because he had a show. And he gave them money so they could have their own money in the strip club, and they turned it into, that was to lay low, because that's what they told the rat bastards to say. That's what the rat bastards said. So now they running with what the rat bastard said. Let's get this thing back going. This is pathetic. Oh, but before I start, Brian still get a chance to talk, y'all. So sit back. Them likes is only at 1,800. Could we get these likes up? Them likes is only at 1,800, man. Let's get them up. All right? But Brian's still going to get a chance to talk, and that's when we're going to hear what's going on.
The evidence has shown the ensuing conflict that occurred after Mr. Thomas was killed. It has shown shootings at Mr. Rashawn Bennett's home, shootings at Mr. Darren Mills' mother's home, and I said Mr. Rashawn Bennett's mother's home. Shootings unrelated to the conflict with members of If Gang, of a Lil Wayne tour bus. That shooting followed the confronting by Atlanta Police Department of members of YSL that drove to the compound where Lil Wayne was making an appearance, and who drove there with the intent to disrupt and cause harm and to shoot up Lil Wayne's tour bus. Lil Wayne was another artist with whom Mr. Williams was having conflict, according to the testimony that had been presented. Mr. Williams had come out at that time with a mixtape that carried the name of an album that Mr. Carter was set to release and was not able to because his label would not allow that to happen. That caused a contractual, or the threat of a lawsuit. It caused Mr. Williams angst. He posted about it. He said derogatory things about the persons who were threatening him with the lawsuit. And as a result, he had to rename his mixtape to something different than what he initially intended. The person who ultimately was convicted of shooting that tour bus up, Jimmy Winfrey, is a person that I believe that recordings have come in regarding jail phone calls, rather, from Mr. Winfrey and members of YSL regarding communication about getting a lawyer. Following the shootings that occurred in 2015, music, social media postings, and other overt acts were committed by Mr. Williams and other members of YSL, taunting members of groups that they considered opposition to YSL, posting of threats of violence by members of YSL against those people. Specifically, the music, Your Honor, contained lyrics such as the following.
Yo, good looking to Dread Mega. Dread Mega, good looking on the super chat.
I rep my life for real. For slimes, you know I kill. I shoot at your mammy, need to stand down. I up my stamina, take it to trial, get an appeal, take it to trial. Pay for that casket, that's just if we whack 'em. YSL slimy and shady, watch me whack that bitch, pop 'em like assist, Glock with the assist. It also consisted of a song wherein Mr. Williams sang or rapped the lyrics, hey, this is that slime shit, that YSL shit, killing 12 shit, fuck a jail shit. I'm in the VIP. I got the pistol on my hip. Fuck the police. You praying that you live. I'm praying that I hit. This that slime shit. 100 rounds in a Tahoe. I'm prepared to take them down. Got banana clips for all these ends acting monkey. This is that slime shit. This is that mob shit. Fuck the judge. YSL. This that mob life. Defendant Williams released a video on YouTube of a song wherein he states, I shot at his mommy. Now he no longer mentions me. Act like you want war and they gonna smoke you like a blunt. Another song, I escaped every one of the licks because I was supposed to be rich. I don't care nothing about a cop. I'm just telling you how it is. I done did the robbing. I done did the jacking. Now I'm full rapping. Gave the lawyer close to $2 million. He handles all the killing. We don't speak about shit on wax. It's all my business. We know to kill the biggest cats of all kittens.
Get them likes up. Let's get them likes up, y'all. Let's get them likes.
In another song, I was on Cleveland, stuck like a magnet, bitch ass N-word, pay for that casket, that's just if we whack 'em. In yet another song, Defendant Williams raps, red just like Elmo, but I never fucking giggle, YSL won't fold, pick his ass off from the balcony, wipe an end's nose. I'm gonna F for the cash, then she getting robbed by Tick, a reference to Trontavia Stevens. All I ever wanted was the money, put your hands in the air if you dare. F and N, put him in a wheelchair. And even later on, Mr. Williams, and I believe that this was in 2019, made a post to YFN Lucci or Rayshawn Bennett. If I ain't like what you do for your mother and kids, I would have been killed you. And in yet another song entitled Anybody, Defendant Williams stated, I never killed anybody, but I got something to do with that body. I got the streets on my back, carry it like I'm moving a body. I told them to shoot 100 rounds like he trying to movie the body. Ready for war like I'm Russia. I get all types of cash. I'm a general. As Mr. Williams' prominence in the music industry rose, his ascension within or in leadership in the gang YSL became more apparent as he rapped and talked about the crimes that YSL co-conspirators and members committed and how he got away with robberies. With respect to the Donovan Thomas murder, the court has heard evidence through phone records that within 6 minutes of the shooting of Donovan Thomas Jr., a phone call was made from Demise McMullen's cell phone to Defendant Williams' phone, and then immediately after that call, Mr. Williams calls his sister Dora Greer and then calls Kelvin Treadwell. There's then a series of calls between Dora Greer and Treadwell, and then Treadwell calls Demise McMullen or Nard. All of those calls happened within 15 minutes of the 911 call. And as I have stated before, the court has heard accomplice prior inconsistent statements about who committed the murder itself and what happened afterwards.
Thanks, Lamont Blackshear. Thanks, Lamont Blackshear. That's what I'm up. Say some love, man. Hit that like button. Show some love
The
and hit that like.
conflict between YSL and members of If Gang continued into 2019, wherein Mr. Williams raps the lyrics that I referred to earlier. In May 2019, a YSL member shot multiple times at a vehicle owned by Rayshawn Bennett, a black and red Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. At the time was being driven by a Milton Howard Jr. It was after that incident, later in August 2019, that Defendant Williams posted on his page the language, YFN, if I ain't like what you do for your mother and kids, I would have been killed you. The post was then deleted from his account. Through text messages of a co-conspirator, Marquavius Huey, there was communication between Mr. Huey and Mr. Williams, both in January and in September of 2020. On January 19th, 2020, Mr. Williams sent a flyer to Marquavius Huey with the performance location of Rayshawn Bennett, or YFN Lucci. And when he sent that, he sent it with the message, "Handle that tonight, SLAT, S-L-A-T-T. Mr. Huey responded, SLAT, S-L-A-T-T. On September 2nd, 2020, Mr. Huey sent a flyer to Mr. Williams with another performance location of YFN Lucci, and Mr. Williams responded, SLATTY, that is S-L-A-T-T-Y, handle and stay very low. Mr. Huey responded, SLAT, and for show, F-A-S-H-O, I've been out the way, and appreciate you for everything, my brother. Never about money with me. I'm built on loyalty. Mr. Williams responded, SLAT, handle that. I got you. Through text messages and on a separate occasion, Mr. Huey said and conveyed to Mr. Williams that he would sit down for any one of them, and I believe that to be a reference of going to jail. When Mr. Bennett was not killed in 2022, Jaden Myrick sought permission from Defendant Williams to stab Mr. Bennett while Mr. Bennett resided with Mr. Myrick at the jail. Mr. Myrick reached out to co-indictee Khalif Adams, who reached out to co-indictee Demikion Garlington to get permission from Mr. Williams. Demikion Garlington was also involved in the back and forth shootings back in 2015. On February 9th, 2022, Rayshawn Bennett was stabbed by Jaden Myrick at the Fulton County Jail, and after that stabbing, Mr. Myrick reached out multiple times to Mr. Adams for some type of compensation for the stabbing. Mr. Adams reached out to Mr. Garlington about the payment for the completion. On February the 22nd, 2022, YSL co-conspirator and co-indictee Christian Eppinger called YSL co-conspirator Antonio Sumlin to get permission to finish what Mr. Myrick could not complete, that is the killing of Mr. Bennett. Mr. Eppinger asked for payment for a lawyer. However, these calls were intercepted and Mr. Bennett was relocated. In March 2022, information about the stabbing made the news, and shortly thereafter, a series of violent offenses occurred. On March 11, 2022, YSL associates Christian McMiller and Darius Ford were gunned down. Mr. McMiller is a childhood friend of Mr. Williams. Mr. Ford was also a friend of Mr. Williams. On March 12th, the day after, there was a shootout near the Cleveland Avenue area.
Good looking, Julie 76.
a shooting by a YSL associate, Stephen Harris, in YFN territory occurred.
Yeah, hold up, man. Hold up. I got to stop this. First of all, man, I want to thank all the people that gave the donation, man. Look, we had, what, 3 people give a donation. No problem with that. But, you know, these 3 people right here, my man Rob Carpenter, you know what I mean? The other ones is too far up. Okay, then we got Lamont Blackshare, good looking, homie. You know what I mean? Just so you understand, right? These are people that play by the rules because the game is to be sold, not told, right? So, like I said, you know what I mean? We got Lamont Blackshare, right? Then we got, let's not forget, you know, the homie Rob Carpenter. Then Lamar Blackshare came back to pick up the stand. Nobody ain't asking y'all for nothing. If you ain't got nothing to send and you can't show love like these 3 brothers here, that's on you. 2 brothers, whatever, that's on you. But at least hit the like button, dog. All I'm asking for is the like button. That's what these lives is about. You want to watch, you don't want to send a super chat, you don't want to send a cash app, and you don't even want to hit a like button. I know that y'all know better than that. You come in somebody's house, you say good evening. When you say good evening at Unique Mecca Audio, you just hit the like button. You ain't got to hit no cash app. You ain't got to do nothing else. Hit the like button to acknowledge that you're here and you welcome the content, and let's move forward. And I want to thank those that did donate. All right, relax so we can get back to this, guys. I'm disappointed in the likes. Let's get these likes up, man. We've been stuck at 2,000 likes for like 10 minutes. 2,000 likes for 10 minutes. We got 5,000 people watching. That's great, but we're supposed to at least have 2,500 likes, man. Supposed to have half of what watching liking. That's when we know that we rocking and rolling and we representing our fellow YouTubers we came to see for free. All right?
And a YFN member was shot in the head. March 11th through March 14th, there were a number of social media posts going back and forth between members of YSL and YFN. One of them was a post by Shannon Stillwells. We ain't the only ones who ain't going to be crying, that's going to be crying. After a posting was made by Mr. Watts picturing him, Mr. Shamel Drinks, and Mr. Jasper Walters, on March 14th, 2022, after YSL members spotted Mr. Drinks at a gas station, Mr. Drinks was gunned down as he drove away from the gas station and waited at a red light. Later, Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Nichols, Mr. Garlington, and Mr. Farley were all charged with the murder. That is one of the acts that we are still and would anticipate the court seeing the evidence of during the course of this trial. After grand jury warrants were issued after this indictment for Mr. Williams and 27 other co-conspirators, following searches of phones, wiretaps, and other information that led police to understand the role that Mr. Williams played in the YSL street gang and enterprise. Mr. Williams' home, he was arrested at his home and a search warrant was executed inside his home. While at his home, a sale amounts of illegal narcotics, including those that he is charged with in this indictment, was found. Also found was the machine gun with which the defendant has been charged in this indictment.
Let's go.
The gun had a switch. The narcotics included marijuana, codeine, and cocaine. And inside the home were also other guns besides the guns with a switch. The items were seized, and again, Mr. Williams was subsequently arrested, along with other YSL members at Mr. Williams' home. Your Honor, that is the evidence that I believe has been shown throughout the course of this trial and that the state would continue to show. There are several messages between Mr. Huey and Mr. Williams inside the cell phone that one of the cell phones that were recovered from Mr. Huey, besides the messages about tells Mr. Williams he has a new number. Mr. Huey asks Mr. Williams, hey, my brother, I'm fucked up. You ain't got nobody I can pull up on and have something in my pocket. Mr. Williams responds, slat, let me call BEO. Mr. Huey responding, slat, I need you, my brother. Mr. Huey saying, asking whether or not a lawyer was going to go and talk to another YSL associate, asking Mr. Williams to send him some money to pay his lawyer off. Mr. Williams asking Mr. Huey, who had been accused of armed robbery, what did he want?
You see what I'm saying? That's how the street is. Homie messed up, right? They say that he allegedly called Young Thug and said, yo, give me a lame to pull up on. Give me somebody that pissed you off. Give me somebody you don't like. Just give me anybody that got a chain on. You know what I mean? That's what he called it for. Give me somebody that got a chain on. Give me somebody that got a nice watch on or something. Give me a Vic, a.k.a. give me a victim. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what they're trying to translate here. But they said he called for a lawyer, and Thug asked him, what do you need? But that could be just because he's a loyal brother. Don't have to be because he did the armed robbery for him. Thug don't need the money from the armed robbery. Because dude is asking, yo, just put me on a lane. Knowing that Thug don't want nothing out of it. You know what I mean? Allegedly. You know what I mean? Let's keep this moving.
Mr. Huey responded with a number. Mr. Williams responded, slat. After Mr. Williams stole a star ring from one of the victims in the indictment, he asked Mr. Williams, do you have a star ring?
Yo, you saw the way Young Thug looked up when she said stole a star ring? I got to try and rewind that for y'all. Look at Young Thug's face. It said he stole something. That's what I'm saying. They calling him for people that they could go move on to go get the bag, right? And they're accusing this man of stealing a star ring. Look at Young Thug's face right here.
A YSL associate, Stephen Harris,
Listen.
in YFN territory occurred. And
Yo, before we go to that, I want to give a special thanks to Lalo Potts, Kevin Flocka, you know, Eric. You know what I mean? These are people that know how to play the game with the Cash App, man. Kevin Flocka, you know, Darlene Scott, Wendell Carter, Fishbone, just naming a few. Ralim Eli, Charles Darby, Jamal Exum, you know, Paul Walker. I could keep going on all day. Anthony Norgood. I got good people that know how the game is played, man. Tina Mills, you know what I mean? Catherine Morrow. I could keep going all day. Robert Johnson, Denise, you know what I mean? Jeremiah Walters, New Rich. Come on, man. Let me get back to this show so you understand. That's how the game is played. And all I'm asking y'all to do is hit the like button. Hit the like button. That's free. I got people that respect the game. If you don't respect the hustle game of the game is to be sold, not told, cool. You from another generation. No disrespect. But at least hit the like button. In your generation, that's free. You know what that means. Let's get it in the algorithm. Get these likes up. Come on now.
YFN member was shot in the head. March 11th through March 14th, there were a number of social media posts going back and forth between members of YSL and YFN. One of them was a post by Shannon Stillwells. We ain't the only ones who ain't going to be crying, that's going to be crying. After a posting was made by Mr. Watts picturing him, Mr. Shamel Drinks, and Mr. Jasper Walters, on March 14th, 2022, after YSL members spotted Mr. Drinks at a gas station, Mr. Drinks was gunned down as he drove away from the gas station and waited at a red light.
Make him take him. Good
Later,
looking.
Mr. Stillwell,
Make him take him.
Mr. Nichols,
on the
Mr.
super chat.
Garlington, and Mr. Farley were all charged with the murder. That is one of the acts that we are still and would anticipate the court seeing the evidence of during the course of this trial. After grand jury warrants were issued after this indictment for Mr. Williams and 27 other co-conspirators, following searches of phones, wiretaps, and other information that led police to understand the role that Mr. Williams played in the YSL street gang and enterprise. Mr. Williams' home, he was arrested at his home and a search warrant was executed inside his home. While at his home, a sale amounts of illegal narcotics, including those that he is charged with in this indictment, was found. Also found was the machine gun with which the defendant has been charged in this indictment.
Hold up. First of all, right, I want to thank Make 'em Take 'em, for the joint, you know what I mean? Everybody that represent with the Cash App or the Super Chat, We got 5,000 people in here and 2,300 likes. We 200 shy of being 50-50. Could we get this thing going? Who that? Okay, that's Me. You know what I mean? And thanks for being a member. I just put up a new video today for the members. Go check it out. Members only. Get the exclusive joints first and the exclusive joints that I'm not even going to put on YouTube. That's on the members only. So I want to thank all y'all. We stuck at 23. Let's get these likes up. Let's get this thing moving. We're not moving like this, y'all. We're not moving like this. The game is to be sold, not told. Y'all getting jewels that's priceless. Save your life or save someone close to you's life. The phone number's on the screen. I'm going to answer phone calls after this. Let's sit back. Let's enjoy the ride. I'm going to tap off the screen and let y'all listen for a minute. But I'm definitely coming in when need be. That like button working.
The gun had a switch. The narcotics included marijuana, codeine, and cocaine. And inside the home were also other guns besides the guns with the switch.
Arlene Rabia, thanks for the cash app.
And again, Mr. Williams was subsequently arrested, along with other YSL members at Mr. Williams' home.
Arlene, thank you.
Your Honor, that is the evidence that I believe has been shown throughout the course of this trial and that the state would continue to show. There are several messages between Mr. Huey and Mr. Williams inside the cell phone one of the cell phones that were recovered from Mr. Huey. Besides the messages about
Hit that like button. It's free. Hit the like button. That was your pause for the like button.
Tells Mr. Williams he has a new number. Mr. Huey asks Mr. Williams, hey, my brother, I'm fucked up. You ain't got nobody I can pull up on and have something in my pocket. Mr. Williams responds, slat. Let me call BEO. Mr. Huey responding, slat, I need you, my brother. Mr. Huey saying, asking whether or not a lawyer was going to go and talk to another YSL associate, asking Mr. Williams to send him some money to pay his lawyer off. Mr. Williams asking Mr. Huey, who had been accused of armed robbery, what did he want? Mr. Huey responded with a number. Mr. Williams responded, slat. After Mr. Williams stole a star ring from one of the victims in the indictment, he asked Mr. Williams, do you have a star ring? Mr. Williams said, yes.
Look at his
Mr. Huey
face.
said, Slat, you can't cash out me $500 so I can make a payment to my
Look at
lawyer.
Thug's face.
Mr. Williams responded, Slat. Mr. Huey sent him his phone number.
Look at his
Mr.
face.
Williams assured him through his responses, Slat, that he would take care of them. Throughout Mr. Huey's phone, you see messages of this nature between Mr. Huey and Mr. Williams. The court, again, will hear that as this trial continues. The recommendation that the state previously made prior to us reaching this point was made with the hope that Mr. Williams would agree to certain special conditions of probation that we asked him to adhere to, and that he would take ownership and responsibility for being the leader of YSL. Given that those negotiations have broken down, we are asking that the court sentence Mr. Williams as we have asked earlier. And prior to the court imposing a sentence, we would ask that Ms. Shawana Edmonds, who is the mother of Mr. Thomas, be allowed an opportunity to make an impact statement. And that is all that we have, unless the court has questions.
Okay, well, given that,
Hey, yo, check, right? Yo, see how to spell? I gotta get it right. Discourse motion. Good looking discourse motion. That's what I'm saying, man. Enough respect, my brother. You already know. Y'all might know if to deal with things. Because the game is to be sold, not told. Much respect, you know. Now, what I want to say so y'all understand is this is supposed to be a sentencing hearing where you plead guilty and then you get sentenced. If you notice, Miss Love just went through all the evidence she thought was incriminating to try and sway the judge to bang him out by saying that he had dudes calling him because they wanted to do a hit, they was broke, and he sent them to people to go hit, da-da-da. Stop it, Miss Love. Miss Love, stop it. Please stop it. But that's what this is. She was just retrying the case at a sentencing hearing because she's so thirsty and furious that she lost. I just want to see what Fannie Willis got to say about this. Her pride, little pit bull.
Mr. Williams is not charged with the murder of Mr. Thomas. I don't think that is applicable here.
You see what I'm saying? The judge is like, yo, stop the games, man. Mr. Williams is not charged with murder, and you're bringing all this murder stuff up in front of me for sentencing. Stop it. Sit your black down and stop it. Little Woody, right? Little Woody, right? Let's ride. Little Woody said it best when he was on the stand when he was frustrated. He said, man, I can't believe you black people doing this to us black people. Little Woody's words, I can't believe you black people doing this to us black people. And y'all sitting back and watching what they do to Diddy, what they allegedly trying to do to Jay-Z, Kanye West, Meek Mills, you know, all the biggest rappers that you like got a bullseye on their back right now. All the biggest artists, and I want to thank y'all. We hit 2,500 and we at 5,000. That's 50-50. Round of applause to y'all. All right. See, so relax. See, that's what I'm saying. See, our people have to be talked to and reminded that the like button is there. Hit the like button because we get caught up in the content because it's so fire and we forget to hit the like button. Understood. But now that I'm refreshing your memory, hit the like button and let's get this thing moving because we ain't got no time for the bull crap because we definitely not going through it like that. All right? Now, we got, we're doing good. We're doing real good. And we just had, who that? Nice News. Good looking out, Nice News. That's what I'm saying. This Halloween, the last day of the month, every dollar I get today, because you already know I'm a washed up kingpin. Luckily, Young Thug didn't have to wind up like me and come and start a YouTube. You know what I mean? for you rat bastards that want to say, oh, you get all that money now you're doing YouTube. But now I'm legal in my channel bigger than yours, and I'm doing better than you, and you got to use my name in your title and in your content in order to try and steal some unique Mecca audio views. You're the worst form of scum. Just so you know. But I want to let you know, I got my 118,000, getting ready to push my little 120, getting ready to go to 200,000 subscribers from not disrespecting anyone by just dropping pure jewels. And all I'm asking for is the live. Somebody said play the video. All right, I got you. Who that? Let me say who it is. I ain't gonna take disrespect. Jodine. Jordine, you got that.
I checked on
that's
that,
how we
Your Honor,
do.
with respect to
Just having fun, man. Can I
count
have
one.
fun? Can I
As
ride?
a co-conspirator, Mr. Williams is responsible for all of the acts of the other co-conspirators, the overt acts, the overt act of the murder of Donovan Thomas.
Stop. I gotta call this, Jordine. I gotta stop this, right? I hope I'm saying your name wrong. It's not to be this way. Yeah, Jordan, my bad. I gotta stop this, Jordan. I know you said play the video, and I'm trying to play the video, but I want y'all to learn the law as you go along, so hopefully you don't choose to put yourself in a situation. Right now, she's talking about the murder charge as part of the overt acts. The overt acts you don't have to be charged with. Like I've been saying, they just put an indictment to show the course of the overall scheme of the conspiracy. So she's trying to slide in like they would with the jury, the overt act of the murder, to hope that it sway Judge Whitaker. And look at Judge Whitaker's face on the joint. I wish I could zoom in. Just look at Judge Whitaker's face. Like, I'm not trying to hear that. We know that the overt acts don't mean nothing. I'm not a juror. So you don't need to bring up all that unalive. You know what I mean? Stop it, Miss Love. Stop it, and let's get this over with. You wasted 15 months of our time. You got our chief judge kicked off the case. You know, I had to put a noose around your neck and let you know you were just a trigger. You know what I mean? And I control you. You're nothing to me. Now stop it. Look at the look she's telling her. Let's get this thing moving. Yo, Jordan, I'm going to play it for you now. My bag, homie. But I had to let y'all know about them overt acts. Sorry for trying to be the one to enlighten y'all, Jordan.
Is one of those acts.
I know, and this trial is not complete, and so y'all have not yet proven that.
See, she's saying the child is not complete. You haven't proven that overt act by even putting on witness sufficient evidence to that. So stop it, Miss Love. Now, she's letting them know this is key for y'all to know about the overt acts. I'm stressing these overt acts because God forbid, Allah forbid, you know, if they do decide to re-indict these brothers in the federal charges, everything Little Woody say is going to be used as an overt act against Little Woody, and he's going to have one charge on the conspiracy, which is going to be conspiracy to RICO, which is going to carry 10 to life, and they're going to list all that shooting up of the barbershop and everything that he testified to. That's how important these overt acts are. That's why I had to stop it, Jordan. My bag for not running the show the way you want me to run it, big bro, but I'm trying to accommodate. So please don't take it the wrong way, because if you say something slick in the comments, trust me, you will be like Nicki Minaj. Go check the previous video I did, told Ray J, you will be deleted and blocked. Just please listen to the jewels. Let me ride. I had this girl, right, back in the day, because this is Throwback Thursday, right? Throwback Thursday. All right, round of applause for Throwback Thursday. Whoa. See, this is how I do my live. I didn't want to do all that stuff and talking, calling out 100 names. Y'all send a cash app, y'all send a super chat, you get your name called out. That's the way this program works. Other than that, I'm not going to slow it down and hit all the comments in there, because y'all could just hit like and then we all good. Now, right, so you understand. Whew, this is a hard one, man. Just looking at the way this thing is going, right? I had this girl that I used to deal with, right? She was real fun in the bed. She was great fun in the bed, right? And when I used to pick her up, I hung out with the homies, we smoked our weed, we did our thing, and I go pick up 1, 2 in the morning. When I pick her up, she get in the car, and as soon as we get in the car, she put the, open up a coat, get comfortable. Back in those days, we didn't wear seatbelts, keeping it 100. So she get in the car, she lay back, and then now, as soon as she get in the car, I turn the radio all the way up. Turn it all the way up, right? Now, I ride out. Now, when I ride out, the radio was so loud, she can't hear me, and I can't hear her because we ain't got nothing to talk about. You know why I came to get you. You know where we're going. You know what we're doing, and you know where you're going after that. You know what I mean? That's how real it was back in my day. You know what I mean? So right now, right, this is no disrespect, right? To any of y'all that got an issue with me pausing the tape or what I do in my car, no disrespect, but what I do in my car, you know what I mean? It's my business. That's why when Shorty got in, I turned it all the way up. I don't want to talk to you and don't touch nothing. Don't touch the radio like Cameron said. Just sit there, don't touch nothing, Mom. When you come here, if you haven't been experienced with these scenarios and circumstances and content that I'm bringing you, please don't say nothing. All right? Larry Love, good looking on the Cash App. Larry Love said, hey, Mecca homie came home with probation on a RICO case where I'm from. That's like winning a Super Bowl, and real fight is staying home. They wanted him. Yeah, you already know. That's what I'm saying. You get a RICO and you come home. I had a RICO for a CCE. RICO and CCE is kissing cousins to you rat bastards that say they're not the same. They both parallel because they carry the same amount of time, and it means the same amount of damage done in this country by violating the statutes of the United States Code. So stop it, rat bastards. You know what I mean? I love hitting my guns. Because y'all need it. You know what I mean? Let me get back to the show, Jordan. My bad. But let me ride, man. Let me enjoy myself on my live the way I want to do my live. That's why I don't do live, because I don't do, people getting in my whip just Just sit back like Shorty that I used to pick up 1 a.m. and don't touch nothing. And just wait for us to get to the destination. And that's when you open your mouth. All right?
Not to mention that you dismissed the murder charge against one of the co-defendants who already pled, so.
See, she said you also dismissed the murder charge to one of the co-defendants already pled, and now you're trying to bring up the murder charge up against Young Thug. That's messed up. Big shout out to Chad Marks, Blood on the Razor Wire. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to give him a round of applause. I'm going to give him a round of applause. See, that's a real fire podcast, and I'm even going to give him a plug. Go check out, right? I got 5,000 people on here, Chad, and this is how we do it, Unique Mecca Audio. I got 5,000 people on here, and I'm telling you, go check out Chad Marks, you know what I mean? Because his content is fire, first of all, but he's from the old school. He did time with us in the prison, you know what I mean? And he know that the game is to be sold, not told, because he grew up with us on the streets, and he know the game is to be sold. You come into a man's house, you bring something. You go to a party, you bring a bottle of wine. Chad came, he bought a super chat. That's how you do. And you don't do it to get a shout out. He would have got that anyway. Like, I'm going to give my man that's not even here. Go check out DC Black's Eon. Go check out 10 Toes Down. You know what I mean? Go check out. I got another one. I got some funny ones I watch, man. Yo, listen, I got some good entertainment that I watch. I'm going to give you that now. Yo, Chad, these are the ones that I do watch on my spare time, so nobody think that I'm on no boozy time. I watch Zip with the Drip. Funny dude. Yo, Zip, love you to death. Zip even made a video digging my back out. But my phone number is on the screen, 917-680-ZIP, and anyone else got an issue could call me so I don't feed into social media, yelling on the screen, because they got my number to call me, and we can meet anywhere. We can, resolve it as amicable men. And I love Zip's show. Then we got my man 10 Toes that be going at it with Zip. Then we got 050 that goes at it with 10 Toes. It's like, then we got my man Zeke Black. Go check out Feed the Wolves, Zeke Black, 10 Toes Down. Zip with the Drip, 050, Chad Marks, Eon. I even watched that little young kid down in D.C., Barbara's son. What is it? What the name they call him? Barbara's son is the name of his channel, so that's what counts. Hit that like button, man, and get out my channel, man. Get this thing right. Hit that like button. Y'all getting too much game for nothing. You know what I mean? But Chad Marks know how the game is played. Let me finish this video and go get my smoke on, because I'm getting tired of this crap.
Not for that case, Your Honor. That was Mr. Drinks.
Okay.
We have not dismissed any.
All right. Well, if there's a conviction on the RICO or murder count following the close of this trial, that would be the appropriate time for the victim impact statement to be made. All right, Mr. Steele or Mr. Adams, does the defense want to put anything on the record? Obviously, you need to make a recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Hold up, Mr. Steele. Hold up, Mr. Steele. Hold up. This is live. This is my joint. Right? Let me tell you how this worked, what she just said. She just said, ain't nobody pled guilty to that RICO murder, so don't even bring it up. And that victim impact statement you talking about, you got somebody want to talk about how bad it was, which we understand, and our condolences go out to their family members and the feelings that they feeling, the emotions they feeling from the impact of whatever happened to them during the course of this, scheme. But if no one pleads guilty to it, it's not an overt act. You can't bring it up, Miss Love. That's what she's telling you. If nobody plead guilty to that, if you don't take a guilty plea for the RICO or the unaliving, don't bring in your victim impact statement. Stop it, Miss Love. Let's get back to this. My bag, y'all. Or should I say my bag, Jordan? Because Jordan had an issue with me, said for me to play it. I guess he don't like my commentary.
Many of the statements made by the prosecutor we vehemently disagree with. The prosecutor misstated many pieces of evidence and then took liberty that is the state's theory. Mr. Williams has tendered a nolo contendere plea to the RICO conspiracy count. And in that count, there are several overt acts. And the first one, Your Honor, deals with a traffic stop. It's on September 9th of 2013. And I won't go through every one because it might take a long time, but just for completeness for this, the court knows, Mr. Williams is driving a car. There is a dash cam video of the stop. The officer who testified at the trial 11 years later, the case was, a gun was found under the passenger seat. Mr. Williams is not tied to the gun. He's not convicted of that, and the dash cam video that the officer said would have picked up sound as well as definitely video was never turned over to us, supposedly lost. Could not explain the loss. The armed robbery in another overt act of Mr. Dodson, D-O-D-S-O-N, has the following information. The state only, because we haven't called witnesses yet. So the state put up a man who said nothing except, I don't recall. And then they put in his prior recorded jail calls. That man was taken, his name is Mr. Bean, B-E-A-N. He was taken to Grady Hospital, and he was spoken with by a detective. The state vehemently accused me of lying to the jury, that the man never went, Mr. Bean was never taken to Grady Hospital, and that somehow I planted on him to say something on a recording where he said, the reason I implicated Jeffrey Williams is because the police told me that it would be easier for me. Then I had to go through the CAD reports and show that Mr. Bean was in fact taken to Grady Hospital, and Mr. Bean on recording told Detective Quinn, who of course told the truth, yes, when I spoke to the detective previously, I did lie. Then what the state doesn't tell the jury is that there's another man in the car. He is shot at the scene. He's arrested. He pled guilty. His name is Fred Prethro, P-R-E-T-H-O. And Mr. Prethro is in the Georgia State Prison System, easy to find. Mr. Prethro was in Grady Hospital also, unfortunately suffering from a gunshot wound. And you can hear the medical equipment behind him. And Detective Williams came in and was recording the whole conversation and said how many people were in the car. And Mr. Prethro names the people. Adrian Bean, who's the gentleman I just said, himself, and Walter Murphy. Are you sure there weren't a fourth person in the car? No, the three of us. The state doesn't call that person. The state does call Detective Williams. So I wanted to ask and inquire on that. The state, to obstruct, if that's obstruction, asked the predecessor court to prohibit me from getting into the fact of any conversation that would have impeached another witness. It's fine. Fred Prethro's on my witness list as well as the detective, and I have the recordings. In addition to that, Walter Murphy gave a statement while in the hospital, and his statement is very interesting. It's two different police reports, signed the same date, which is September 11th of 2013, and on the first 7 lines of the police report, they're identical. Then all of a sudden, when it gets to, on the right-hand police report, it says, Mr. Murphy stated that there were 3 people, I believe, I have to go back, in the vehicle. On the other police report, it states, Mr. Murphy stated there were 4 people. There's no reason that they should be different. They're both signed the same. The state doesn't call that officer at all. I tried to ask Mr. Murphy about it. The state objects, and the predecessor judge sustained the objection. Mr. Williams was not involved in the Mr. Dotson. Miss Bennett, that was Mother's Day, May 12, 2013. She reports allegedly an armed robbery. The detective who testified here and investigated stated he never took out arrest warrants for Mr. Williams. And he wrote in his police report, Miss Bennett is not truthful. That is the case that the state is talking about. The state then, there was Brady evidence that they don't turn over, and we find out about it in court after they arrest Miss Bennett because they say she's not cooperating, and it comes out that she told the prosecution over and over again that this did not happen the way that she reported it, and she doesn't remember. As to Donovan Thomas, and Mr. Williams has nothing but empathy, sympathy, and sorrow. They were friends. It is a lie. What the prosecution has put before this jury is a lie. What happened here is the prosecution comes up with a theory because they need a motive, they think. I know you don't need a motive in reality to prove a murder case or any other case, but they wanted a motive. So they made it where Mr. Williams and a gentleman named Rich Homie Kwan, his name is Mr. Lamar, he's a performer, and Mr. Williams and Mr. Lamar were close. There are public documents, recordings, Mr. Lamar being interviewed almost every year, and then he talks about his time with this band or group called Rich Gang, and he says every year up to this past year, he, God forbid, died. We can't call him as a witness, how close he is to Mr. Williams. The state, though, made it in this case, or tried to make it, that Mr. Williams and Rich Homie Kwan are enemies because Rich Homie Kwan will not sign with a record label that has nothing to do with Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams doesn't sign to that record label. That record label is owned by a gentleman named Brian Williams, also goes by Birdman, wildly successful. He started Drake's career. He started Mr. Dwayne Carter, performer known as Lil Wayne's career. He started Nicki Minaj's career, just fabulous, powerful person, well-respected in the industry. But the state wants it to be that Donovan Thomas interceded and would not let Rich Homie Kwan sign to Mr. Brian Birdman Williams. And that is the reason that Jeffrey Williams had a feud and killed Donovan Thomas. Your Honor, what the evidence would really show if we kept going to trial, and I could tell you that Mr. Adams and I never thought we'd be in front of this honorable court. We always thought it would go all the way through trial. Was the state is saying that Rich Homie Kwan and Jeffrey Williams don't speak since the fall, and they have a bad relationship the fall of 2014. We would have shown, and we served on the state, December 15th, 2014, Jeffrey Williams in a private plane with Mr. Lamar or Rich Homie Kwan, and they are high-fiving and laughing with each other. That is on audio video. There's a man who the state hasn't called yet, Mr. Martinez Arnold, also known as Duke. It's on the state's witness list. He's represented by the Honorable Ashley Merchant. He's on that plane as well. He would have identified the item, and he would have testified that Mr. Williams and Mr. Lamar were very close in December 2014. Then on December 29th of 2014, Mr. Williams, Mr. Rich Homie Kwan, Mr. Arnold, others were at Brian Williams' home in Miami, Florida. There was a posting by Mr. Lamar, Rich Homie Kwan, and a picture of Mr. Arnold and Mr. Lamar, and they said, Mr. Lamar says, "This is my number one man, Duke," or something to that effect. We would have put that into evidence. In addition to that, Your Honor, on December 8th, 2 days before Mr. Thomas, God forbid, was killed, Mr. Williams is with Mr. Thomas. as well as Mr. Sledge and Brian Williams in Brian Williams' tour bus outside of a fabulous entertainer, artist, Mr. Clifford Harris, T.I.'s studio, and at that time, they were very close. But you also have the detective with the gang unit, Detective Underwood. I asked her within the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, did you do any, and she was on the gang unit the entire time, including today. And I asked her, do you have any evidence about Mr. Williams and Mr. Thomas being close friends? And she said, yes. Of course, I knew that. I said, how about in January of 2015, close to the time of Mr. Thomas's death? She said, yes, they were close friends. Mr. Michael Sprinkle, he's a deputy district attorney in the Fulton County DA's office. He has a recording with Mr. Treadwell. You've heard the name O.G. Bentley. And in that, they're going through the evidence. And Mr. Treadwell, it's important because he has a child, two actually, with Mr. Thomas's sister. So he's family. And Mr. Sprinkle states this is 2018, this is after the rental car, this is after all of the interviews of Mr. Copeland, this is after the interviews of Mr. Zachary. Mr. Sprinkle's in some of those interviews with Mr. Zachary. Mr. Sprinkle on tape, on recording, states, I do not know why anybody thinks Jeffrey Williams is involved in this killing. He and Donovan Thomas were close friends. It makes no sense to anyone. And Mr. Williams was never arrested, never charged, even in this, as the court just noted, with anything to do with Donovan Thomas's, God forbid, killing. In addition to that, Donovan Thomas has a place that he used to stay with a group of people on Auburn Avenue. Jeffrey Williams performed and did a music shoot there to try to help other people who are suffering in poverty to get out and to be able to be seen and to broadcast their music. Jeffrey Williams does that for everybody because he comes, Your Honor, from the struggle of total poverty, seeing people killed. He saw his brother die right in front of him, and the law enforcement, I'm not blaming anybody, everybody's on edge, but law enforcement would not get any help for him because there are all these people around. It is just what Mr. Williams has gone through is wrong for everyone. It's not just Mr. Williams, it's that whole community, but he's trying to get people out of poverty and out of that community. I have been with Mr. Williams where we have gone to speak with children together, and he tells them, don't be a rapper. Be like Brian, be a lawyer, keep in school. He tells his children, get your education. His family, his whole being, Your Honor, is trying to break the chains of poverty for others, and it has been spun in this courtroom with false statements and allegations against Mr. Williams at every turn. In addition to that, Your Honor, the state talks about the fact that Mr. Williams takes people to Miami. You would have heard evidence if we went forward. I put all these people on my witness list. Not one person on my witness list has been interviewed by law enforcement or the prosecution. They have investigated this case for 15 years. They haven't interviewed all these people. That Sprinter van that you heard about, that was already booked days before. Going to Miami, Florida, Mr. Williams and Mr. Brian Birdman Williams, they did a video shoot for a music video. If anybody would have gone further with the expert for the state, they would have seen that Mr. Williams' cell phone does not contact any of the co-defendants that are named here in Miami, and Mr. Williams stays at a separate location than any of those persons. He would always take people who can't afford it on airplanes, on buses, on tours, to his concerts. He let everyone go because, Your Honor, they never left that area. He wanted to show people you have an opportunity. The world is big. Mr. Williams gave jobs to everybody who'd want to work. He'd give them jobs and security, and I'm not insulting them. They really weren't their jobs, but they were being mentored, but they were given titles and tried to give them respect and opportunity. But if they did not wish to work, Mr. Williams would not allow them to work with them. This is...
Hey, yo, listen, man. Y'all got to get them likes up, man. No disrespect. Y'all got to get them likes up, man. All right? We 500 short because we got 6,000 plus people in here. We need at least 3,000 likes. Let me get back to playing this so that Jordan don't get on me. But I had to let you know. Let's get them likes going, Jordan. Jordan, I hope you hit the likes at least. All right?
All been turned on its head by the state. The fact that the state has put in Mr. Williams' lyrics are offensive. Mr. Williams has tens of thousands of recordings. On our witness list, we are bringing in all of his people, his recording artists, his engineers, his managers, his record label, and an expert, the Honorable Dr. Eric Nielsen, to talk about how Mr. Williams creates his music. His music is then changed around and merged. Mr. Williams, some of the lyrics you just heard are not even uttered by Mr. Williams. The state has no idea when these lyrics were made. Some of them were made before the shooting of Donovan Thomas that the state is saying this applies to the Donovan Thomas killing with the Tahoe. They are so far afield of where we need to be when we are trying to, God forbid, take somebody's liberty, Your Honor. The state is talking about things like F the judge and I rep my life for real. That's not even said by Mr. Williams. But they don't care to find out. They are on a tunnel vision to try to convict a man.
Hey, yo, hold up, Jordan, right? Jordan, hold up. Let me come up here with you, Jordan. You know what I mean? Hey, Jordan, you know what I mean? Because you're the one that want me to just let the tape ride, right? Listen, we got over 6,000 people in here, and we only got 2,600 likes. We need 400 likes. Jordan, I need you to start telling the people to hit the like button or something. You want to do some texting, and that'll be appreciated. I'm asking you to do that. Not dissing you. I'm not doing the Nicki Minaj with Ray J. Go check out the previous video that I did. Nicki Minaj cold disrespected that man. But anyway, hit the like button, y'all. That's all I'm asking. Let me get back to Brian Steele and Jordan. Again, I apologize. I know this is your show. You're in charge. You know, you're the producer. So I'm going to get back to that because I don't want you to dock my pay. All right?
Who should not be convicted. The statement about, I never killed nobody, but I got something to do with that body. If the state just bothered to talk with anybody, that is a Nicki Minaj song with Jeffrey Williams. It is written by Nicki Minaj. That is on the text messages I gave, not the text message, the Instagram or Twitter rather, that I gave to the state. That is out well before this, but the state doesn't care. This is out in 2015 or 16 or 17 or 18, I can't remember, I think 18, where Mr. Williams is asked who wrote anybody, and his response is anybody who's written by Nicki Minaj, and it was. But it was really written and sung, it's a takeoff of a song by Tupac. There's a song that it parallels, which is an inspiration. But here we are with the state. Also, I never killed nobody, but I got something to do with the body. The next line comes up is, it's a truancy body. The state can't explain that, so they just conveniently leave it out. Your Honor, there were wiretaps on this case. Mr. Williams, it was going to come out, there was an application to wiretap his phone. The state never presented to a judge. That speaks volumes. The leader of the YSL criminal street gang, who's been involved from 2012 until his arrest, and even according to the state, while we sit here, they never even tried to wiretap his phone. It might have been because they don't really know what his phone number is. So all these communications you're being told about with Mr. Huey, I'm not so sure the state could have gotten anybody to say that's Mr. Williams' phone. This is how the trial has gone for us. But we sit here for almost 2 years since we did our jury selection initiation on January 4th, 2023. Mr. Williams has been sitting in a jail since May 9th, 2022. This is 2.5 years waiting for the conclusion of the state's case and a verdict from the jury, and that's why he is tendering this plea. I'm telling the court this, and the court knows when you came out the first time, this is very hard for Mr. Williams. I am not supportive of what we're doing right now. I'm not against it. But I told Mr. Williams, you okay with me saying this? Yes. I told
Hey, yo, hold up. Jordan, hold up, Jordan. I gotta say this. Yo, Brian Steele is so official, right? He don't want to say nothing that Young Thug don't approve of. And he even said, I'm not supportive of this plea. Brian Steele wanted to go all the way. Round of applause to Brian Steele. Yo, hold up. Brian Steele wanted, you already said, I'm not supportive of this plea. That means he wasn't with it. He telling Thug, nah, let's go. Thug said, yo, man, I'm tired. And I know what that feeling is like when you're sitting in a jail cell, man, for years, and you just waiting to see what's happening. You be like, yo, I'm tired. Do you know what tired is? You know what I mean? Tired is when I just can't take anymore, you know? So, you know, that's where we at. We got 6,500 people. Let's get these likes up. We got 2,700, so we got another 200. Let's get it up to at least 3,300 or something. But, yo, I just love this dude, Brian Steele. You know, I'm an old gangster, man. You know what I mean? That's why I gotta find my gun. He definitely get a 3-gun salute. He definitely get a 3-gun salute. And whoever don't like the gunshots, that mean you a rat bastard. I feel good right now. Yo, he just said, I'm not supportive of the plea my defendant is taking, my client. I want to go to trial. I want to fight. But you wore my client down with this mockery of a trial. He knows he can beat it. But he's such a gangster. He's willing to take to do 7 out of 20 or whatever. This is what the deal they made in the back. So Brian's still trying to get at least a 7 or lower than the 7 right now. So you understand what's going on. Brian Steele said he don't support that, man. That's gangster coming from a lawyer. He's on the record saying, nah, I wanted to fight. But my co-defendant, my client is tired. Keep saying co-defendant because he was going to move in the cell with him for y'all that don't understand what I'm dealing with.
Mr. Williams, that I think we're winning the trial and we should go to verdict.
See?
But he told me I can't wait another 3 months if there is any possibility I could go home because I have children that are hurting. I have things to do, and he has some medical issues that he would like to tend to. He eats out of a bag, Your Honor.
Yo, let me tell you what that is. When he say he eats out of a bag, they got what they call in the prison system, because we riding. Jordan, if that's all right with you. I know it's your show. You're the producer, so I got to check with Jordan. Now, a bag, right? When he say eats out of a bag, they got what they call bag lunches. You know, that's your bag meal. In the breakfast, you get a boiled egg, a slice of bread, an apple, you know what I mean? And 2 peanut butter and jelly. So you can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich if you're lucky enough to get 2 slices of bread. That's called a bag lunch. Could you imagine living like that for 2 years? Could you imagine what that done to his health, eating out of a bag for 2 years, every breakfast, the same thing. A boiled egg, an apple, and 2 slices of bread, and a cold butter that's stuck to the bread. If you're lucky, you get the peanut butter and jelly and you save it so you can save the bread for lunchtime or late at night when you get hungry and that hunger pain start to bite you. You make that peanut butter and jelly sandwich. My brothers that been in the system, you know that hunger pain that we feel at 1, 2, 3 in the morning when we can't sleep laying in that cell, locked in with nothing in the locker. Only thing is running around the cell is the mice. And you pray. The rat don't come in the cell. You sit there and you watch the mice running around and you figure they're babies, so I got time to eliminate them. So you let them live for a minute. You might take a shoe and throw it at him so he go back out the door to somebody else's cell and you roll over, you get that bread from that breakfast, that 2 peanut butter and jelly, and this is 1 in the morning and you got it at 5 in the morning. Now you're sitting there making that peanut butter and jelly sandwich and then you say, man, I need something else with it. So you take that butter that you know was frozen at 5 in the morning and you smash that joint. But a lot of people take that butter because I'm giving y'all a jailhouse experience, and that's why I say follow me on Instagram. It's on the screen. Unique Make Audio on Instagram. Cash App is on the screen. Make sure you hit the icon that says it was created in 2020. But you take that butter when we're in prison and we smash that butter between our hands, and that's the lotion. We rub the butter all over our face as lotion. That's what you youngins want to do? You want to have to go to jail, and instead of using the Vaseline lotion, the Dove lotion, the Jergens lotion, the baby this and the baby that, and the designer Gucci, Fendi, Armani, body oils, you're using cooking butter for your lotion and your lubricant for your face. You running around all day with a butter face, you know? But your complexion stay like mine. You know how many years I use butter on my skin? And yo, do y'all know how many years I use butter on my skin? Y'all can't even imagine that. You know what I mean? Just so you fully understand what I'm dealing with. Y'all can't imagine how many years I use butter on my skin. You know what I mean? But that's what it is, just so you fully understand. You know, I don't see the comments up there. So I can't, I guess I got to go to the regular joint to look. Hold up. You know, yeah, let me go. I don't see the comments. The comments must have ran off at a certain time. Let me check my phone. We got 7,000 in the people in the audience. We need the likes to get up. But I used to use butter on my face, just so you understand. You know what I mean? I used to use butter on my face. Yeah, I guess I got to use the comments from down here. I got to find out why they cut off. You know what I mean? But I can't see them on my screen. But, you know, I can see them on my phone, so y'all know. You know what I mean? But, yo, imagine using butter for lotion. They was feeding this man out of a bag for 2.5 years. And he's telling the judge, I'm tired. I'm tired, man. I just want to go home to my family. You know what that feel like? You know how many nights and days and evenings I was tired in 26.5 years that I've served in federal prison and wanted to go home to my family. But the last thing on my mind was telling on my comrades because I fall on my sword before I dishonor the oath that I took to the street. That's why I'm telling y'all, don't take the oath to the street. Because during my time, it was decapitation for violating the oath of the street. Let me tell you a ride. I'm going to tell you a ride. Then, Jordan, I'm going to get back to it. I know you run the show, Jordan. Yeah, I talked to my my accountant about a year ago, right? Last summer, over the summer. This summer. It was this summer, maybe last summer. Who knows? Time fly like that. But when I talked to him on the phone, I asked him, how am I doing? He said, man, Unique, you got over a 700 credit score, and you pay all your bills, and I can't believe it. You know how many years it takes people to learn how to do that? I said, do you know the era that I come from? If you don't pay your bills, you could lose your head. They don't even bless you and just take your life. You might lose your head for not paying your bills. He said, yo, Mr. Unique, we assure you we're not going to take your head here if you don't pay the bills. I said, yeah, but I survived by keeping those same morals because it follows me over into business. If I take somebody's money, I pay. If somebody take my money, they need to pay. So I'm telling you, Mr. Accountant, if you take my money, you need to pay me back my money. So don't give me a problem when I come to get my money. He said, if that's all you got to worry about with me, you ain't got a problem in the world. And I'm assuring you again, we're not going to take your head for missing a payment. And it was funny because I'm talking to this dude, then I'm hearing the fear in his voice when I'm talking about decapitation. And I'm like, you know, but this is my normal conversation. You know what I mean? It's my normal conversation that I have with my comrades, and I forget that I'm dealing with somebody in the civilian world. So I'm trying to explain to him, my dude, we pay our bills. You lose your life for not paying your bills. You lose your loved ones, your kids, your mother for not paying your bills. Where I come from. He said, Mr. Hall, again, You don't have to worry about losing anything dealing with us over here at this bank. I'm not going to tell you what bank it is. But let me go back to playing this, man.
He eats processed food only. He gained 75 pounds during trial. He's lost it since. But it is hard. You know, for me, it's only 3 more months. It's enjoyable, actually. I enjoy coming. It's not that enjoyable for Mr. Williams. He told me he wakes up. Can I say this? He wakes up every day, and it's another day in HE blank blank.
Every day he wake up, it's another day in hell. It's equivalent to that movie, if you ever seen it with Drew Barrymore, called Groundhog Day, where every day she goes through the same thing, see the same thing every day. Yo, I did 5 years. Let me ride. I did 5 years in ADX Supermax, right? When they brought me in that tunnel going down and around, and I got off the bus with my comrades and my chest is out, I got punched in the face by a lumberjack wearing a Ninja Turtle outfit. Punched me dead in my face for getting off the bus. They whooped me for coming to their prison. This is what you youngins want? I got off the bus at ADX Supermax where they got El Chapo, Larry Hoover, Pistol Pete, Wayne Perry, the Unabomber, who just passed, rest in peace, and get mad because I said rest in peace. Because we don't wish death on no one as a Muslim, only Allah could take it. Now, when I got there, they beat me like I was a runaway slave being brought back to my home. And this was the first time I've been there. When I went in there, from day 1 to day 5 years, when they wrote me out that prison, when I got on the bus and was rolling up the other way, it felt like we were just coming down. I didn't remember nothing that happened during those 5 years I was in there. That's how they traumatized me when my mind was smart enough to block it out so I could move forward and keep my sanity. And now I do YouTube to sit here and deal with my therapeutic recovery by talking to you and getting paid for it. And you don't want to give me a cash app that's on the screen, hit the icon, make sure it say it was created in 2020. If you don't want to do that, I got what they call a like button for free. I don't deserve a like button for sharing these stories with you. Because your dollar must be hard for you to part with. But a like button? Let's get back to Brian Steele, man, before I get emotional.
Your Honor, the state is talking about, in this case, they put in social media. This honorable court was not here, but the state put in that Mr. Williams, in the indictment, Mr. Williams put out a call for murder. He put $24 million murder for hire on a person's head. That is a lot of money, and that is awful. If they would have read the chat, the Instagram chat, Mr. Williams, right above it, there's a picture of a very well-known, very accomplished musical artist who actually had surgically implanted in his forehead a pink diamond worth $24 million that day. That's what Mr. Williams would talk about. That's the type of evidence that is coming from the state of Georgia in this case. It is wrong. This is all wrong.
Stop. 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 Somebody tell me, why would the Europeans give a black man a diamond that's worth $25 million to put in his forehead? No one thought of that, right? So, oh, yo, he had a diamond. Why would they give him that? Do you see how valuable we are on the trading and branding market? They gave him a $25 million diamond to put in his head because it wasn't his. If it was his, y'all let me know. If he made $25 million to take to put in his head, that's big. No one thought of that. All they thought about was that $25 million was in his head. Not where did it come from or who's benefit from it. Let's get back to that.
And I know we're pleading guilty, and I know we're pleading nolo, and I know we're asking this honorable court for a certain sentence, and we'll get to it with the court's permission. But this is the type of evidence that there is. But it is holding this man hostage. And that's not really what we're supposed to do, district attorney time, in the state of Georgia or anywhere. The state then, because I opened on that, then they never bothered to put in all of the chats. Why did it take me to read the chats?
Subscribe if you're not
In
subscribed.
addition to that, going back to Donovan Thomas,
Hit the
talking
like
about Mr.
button.
Williams involved, the state did a geofence. A geofence tracks his devices. It doesn't have to be a phone. It could be an iPad. It could be any type of electronic device that targets and is used. You don't have to be on the phone. It's the contact. If he has an app open, it'll capture it. And the state targeted the McDonald's, where they keep saying that Mr. Williams met with people there. They targeted the barbershop where, God forbid, the killing occurred. And they targeted a third location, no, 2 locations. And it comes out, Mr. Williams' devices are not there. It's exculpatory. I don't get that information. I got that because I interviewed Lieutenant Crabtree, and the results can't be found.
Get them
from the
likes up.
prosecution. I did a motion for that. They just can't find it. That is great evidence for Mr. Williams. It would have also shown clearly that when he does go down from his house after getting this call that I'll talk about from Demise McMullen, he's not with these other people. And the expert for the state, the FBI agent who does the telephone analysis, Mr. Williams' phone does not ping off the same tower as a Demise McMullen or a Mr. Copeland or a Mr. Garlington or whomever.
Yo, we got, what's that, 8,300 people in here. We need the like buttons. Y'all just coming in. Y'all loving the content. Let's get these like buttons, please. I'm giving y'all time to hit the like button. That's all I'm asking. Cash App on the screen. Make sure you hit the icon that says Created 2020. Instagram is on the screen. Follow me at Unique Mecca Audio. Be a member. You get the videos first. You get the videos that I can't put up because they hit me with copyright or whatever else in YouTube. And you already know you get those videos that the other 120,000 don't get. But make sure I'm asking you now respectfully. I've been here 2.5 hours. Could everyone watching please hit the like button? That's all I'm asking. The Cash App is there for the ones that know that the game's supposed to be sold, not told. But we just need that joint hit. I got a Halloween party to go to tonight. You know I'm showing out. All right?
The state of Georgia has misrepresented for 2 years in front of this jury. They have hidden evidence. They have violated Brady. They have falsely accused Mr. Williams. Your Honor.
Yeah. So y'all know what Brady is. I know I keep stopping it, Jordan, but I just want to make sure my people learning over here. Brady's a case where there was a dude driving a garbage truck and he found the gun that night. Happened in 1964. He went to the Supreme Court. It was called Brady versus Maryland. He found the gun while he was putting the garbage in the truck. A gun fell out. He found the gun. He told his co-worker, you know what I mean? Said he was going to take it in, and I think he took it home. When he took it home, the police wound up coming to his house. They found the gun, and they charged him with the murder that the gun was committed for after they did the ballistics way back in the 60s. So now they hid the statement that he told his co-defendant that he was going to take it in, or something similar to that. Just giving you a rough synopsis. So being that they hit that statement, he went to trial, got found guilty. Then after the trial, they found the statement where he told his co-defendant, "We'll give it in." The prosecutor had it. They never turned it over to the defense, so they called it Brady evidence because it's evidence that could have freed Brady. That was the Brady case that they just mentioned. It's called Brady versus Maryland and went to the Supreme Court, I think, in 1964, if I'm not mistaken. Let's keep this moving.
Honor, saying that Mr. Williams gets that call 7 minutes after, the state said 6, it was 7 minutes after the killing of Donovan Thomas from Demise McMullen. Mr. Williams was already out of his home. Mr. Demise McMullen's calling Mr. Williams. He's not even there. He's going down to meet with Mr. Kelvin Treadwell, also known as O.G. Bentley. O.G. Bentley was supposed to go to Miami, Florida. They were talking about this deal. And Mr. Williams that day he was given another contract. Mr. Williams, by this time, he went from zero money. He is a multimillionaire at the time. He doesn't need the Cleveland Avenue drug deals for $15. He doesn't need the shootings. He wasn't even living in Atlanta since 2018, 19, 20, 21. He came back the very end of 21, 6 months, and he got arrested in May of 2022. In his house, Your Honor, we have everyone on the witness list. There are 12 people living at that house. Mr. Williams opens up any of a car that he has. He'll rent cars for people. Any home he has, he will allow people to live in hotels because people that he knows, unfortunately, are homeless.
Let me ask y'all this, Rob. Let me ask y'all this. First of all, we need the likes to go up. We finally hit 3,000. Round of applause. We got 3,000 likes, but we got 9,000 in the building, so we need another 1,500. We got to jump up, y'all. We got to do better than this. But let me ask y'all this, right? While y'all hitting the like button, let me ask y'all this, right? Do you think little Woody would be invited or will be invited to Young Thug's welcome home party? Do you think Monk Tunk and the rest of the witnesses will be invited to Young Thug's party? And how would you feel if they was invited? If you saw Woody and Young Thug hugging in a picture when Young Thug get out, what would be your comment if you saw Young Thug with his arms around little Woody in a picture smiling after he get out, or a picture with Monk Tunk or whoever after they don't work for the government, regardless if their testimony through the case or not, they the ones that got him standing in the position that he's in right now. Y'all put in the comments. Let's see where your civilian or gangster hat is at. All right.
And he gives them all places to stay, cars to drive around. He is not involved in criminal activity. Mr. Williams just got back in our country. His passport shows it. Right before he was arrested on May 9th of 2022, there were other people in that house with the drugs and the guns. There are people whose the guns are in their names.
Hit the like
They
button.
were going to come in court and claim the guns. Everybody else was doing as well, but Mr. Williams has entered a guilty plea. I'm not going back on that, but I just want you to know that this case is just wrong to do to somebody with no bond and to hold him hostage. He wants to, you may not do it. He's aware of that. He's aware of that. But the state offered him 15 years on probation. But they keep piling on these conditions. He just said, he made up his mind. He said, I'm just going to go with it. I got to get home. Judge may not let me home, but I'm not doing these conditions and admit that I'm the leader and I'm involved in the killing, and my music just promoted everybody to do it. He's not going to do that. So he did not do that, and that's how we wound up here. The state, the night of the killing, people came to Mr. Williams' home. The state tells the court, he said, lay low. What they don't tell you is right after that, he gave money to Mr. Sledge, who said, they're going to kill me. They think I did it. And Mr. Williams said, if you had anything to do with it, I don't want to be with you. And Mr. Sledge said, I just need a hotel room with my children and my bride or my significant other to get to. And Mr. Williams said, be safe, lay low. That's the lay low. In addition to that, Mr. Williams told Mr. Copeland's with the police. Hours after the killing of Mr. Donovan Thomas, Mr. Copeland goes to the police department. Mr. Williams is the person who told him to go. Mr. Copeland said, what do I do? They're shooting at my house, at my family's house, at my significant other's mother's house. And Mr. Williams said, if you had anything to do with the murder, get out of here. Mr. Copeland denied it. And Mr. Williams said, then go tell the police. Mr. Copeland said, you want me to go to the police? And Mr. Williams said, if you had nothing to do with it, they think you did it, go to the police. In addition to that, Mr. Copeland said, well, I'm going to retaliate. Mr. Williams told him, don't do that. Let 12 handle. That's on recordings. That is on recordings on January 11th of 2015 with Detective Thorpe. Your Honor, as far as Dwayne Carter,
Yo, before they go into Dwayne Carter, man, hold up. I got to stop this joint, man. I got to stop this joint. I got to get some gunshots. We got 10,000 people in here right now. 10,000 people in here right now, and we only have 3,000 likes. This is the channel for gangsters. And what gangsters do, we show love. It's free. It's called the like button. Follow me on Instagram. It's on the screen. If you don't want to hit the like button, Cash App is above my head on the screen. Hit the icon. Make sure it says it was created in 2020. But all I'm asking for is a like button. We shouldn't have 10,000 viewers and 3,000 likes. Where they do that at? Come on, y'all. Let's start this party, man. You know what? Hold up. Now, you know what? Maybe y'all just need to get in the groove a little bit. Now, let me say this, right? Let me say this. We had a clown rat bastard call me Reverend Ike. You already know that's what he deserved. For asking for a Cash App, it's on the screen. If you want to send it, hit the icon, make sure it say it was created in 2020. But all I'm asking you to do is follow me on Instagram at Unique Mecca Audio. I'm going to start posting over there. Right? You already see the Cash App. I already gave you that spiel. But hit the like button, man. It's free. They don't charge you nothing for the like button. I know y'all used to just going in channels and watching and they don't communicate with you. But over here at Unique Make Audio, we communicate. So I'm giving y'all time while I'm talking to please hit the like button. I don't ask you for nothing else. I just suggest that you set a Cash App. That's how I got all this fly hookup. You know what I mean? I can give you all kinds of joints. You know what I mean? I can listen. And then I could throw in the outro. You know what I mean? I can let them know like this, right? Because toast to what?
Cheers, cheers.
Toast
the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
And then I also got this for you. This is what the Cash App did. But all I'm asking for is a like. Can I get a like, man? Is that asking too much? I've been on here 2.5 hours. Can I get a like for the people just coming in? Hit the subscription button. Hit the notification button. If you're already subscribed, hit the notification button. You just come and subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button. All that is free. Or you can follow me on Instagram. That's also free. But then there's the Cash App if you respect the game and want to shoot $1 to a convict.
known as Lil Wayne, Mr. Williams had no conflict with him. They are friends. We were presenting evidence that right before this shooting of the tour bus is April 26th of 2015. Mr. Williams is performing in New Orleans area. And that's the area where it's Holly Grove, where Mr. Carter, or Lil Wayne, the performer known as Lil Wayne, comes from. And in order to drum up popularity and interest, people get on the internet and they start what's called rap battles, arguments, feuds. That's what happened here, and you would have heard testimony from Mr. Williams' management that they said, start a rap battle. It'll be better for your career. Mr. Dwayne Carter is aware of that. Mr. Dwayne Carter's interviewed. The state's aware of this. He has interviews after this. Are you mad? What's the real deal with Jeffrey Williams? He states, no. He's great with me. He brought popularity to me. He loves me. He idolizes me, and I love working with him. They did an album together. In 2014, they're in the studio together, making music together. It is all made up that Mr. Williams is involved. Mr. Williams gives a statement. The state refuses to put it in and then stopped me, the previous judge, from cross-examining the detective. His name is Racy. He met with Mr. Williams in the DeKalb County Jail on the 15th day of July 2015. Mr. Williams is arrested that day. And there's a long interview. And Mr. Williams waives his right to counsel. He tells them, I'm his lawyer. They say, you don't want to speak to us? You don't have to. He said, well, I'll speak with you. And they asked Mr. Williams these questions. What about Lil Wayne's shooting? He said, it was outrageous. I love him. That's my idol. I love Lil Wayne. How about this battle? He says it's promotion. They asked him about his rap lyrics. It's the only person that the state ever did anything about rap lyrics with. And they asked Mr. Williams, what about the rap lyrics? And he tells them, it's hyperbole. He didn't use that word. He used the word, it's made up. It's rhyming. It's made up. Not like the state is saying that I rap lyrics for real. That's not even Mr. Williams' utterance. Your Honor, the point I'm trying to make to you is what the state of Georgia has presented to this jury in this courtroom the past year has been full of untruths, and they know it. The state says that Mr. Williams had a conflict because he named an album with Dwayne Carter, and Dwayne Carter didn't like that. Dwayne Carter's interviewed. He said, that was one of the nicest things anyone could have done to me. It shows how much he really appreciates me. It shows respect.
Paradise, good looking for looking out. You know what I mean? Paradise showing love. She already got the moderation joint, so she already knows she can delete any clown, rat, bastard that might slip in, because they will slip in. That's what they do. You know what I mean? Now, let me go over here and give a shout out to, you know, the joint. Let me give a shout out to the Cash App, you know, holders here. You know what I mean? We got Ernie, what is it? Robertson. Ernie Robertson, what up? You know, Ronald, good looking. You know what I mean? Ernie Robertson, Ronald, good looking. Max Julian, you know what I mean? Arlene Robia, and Jasmine Floyd, Teresa Johnson, Jose Reed, Mark Cantu, Trey Henry, Arlene Robe, Corey Burris, Eric, you know, Lado Potts, Kevin Flocka, you know, Wendell Carter, Fishbone, Ralim L. You already know what it is, man. This is how we get love over here at the Mecca, man. Let's get back to this joint. Been over here long enough reading out. I appreciate y'all, and round of applause. Round of applause. Calm down, y'all. Let me get back to the show.
An honor, and I appreciate what he did. The state knows this. With regards to Jimmy Winfrey, what the state did is they put in a recording. It's not Mr. Williams. It's a jail recording, Mr. Winfrey and an unknown person. And an unknown person says, when you get out, you're going to get a Porsche and $250,000. Mr. Williams not privy to that. The state looked at all of Mr. Williams' bank records, everything. They undressed him financially. There's zero evidence Mr. Williams did anything for Mr. Winfrey. The state tells you that Mr. Winfrey asked for money for a lawyer. The conversation was, and it's recorded, it was with Mr. Williams' manager. And Jimmy Winfrey said, I need to show that I was gainfully employed for the court. Can you get me something from YSL? And the manager said, yeah, if we have it, and if it's true, yes, you can have it. That is it. There's no evidence that Mr. Williams paid for anybody's lawyer, Mr. Winfrey or otherwise. In addition to that, Your Honor, the social media postings with Mr. Rashawn Bennett, also known as YFN Lucy. So Mr. Williams, the state tells you, tells Mr. Bennett on social media, I would have killed you if I didn't like the way you take care of your mother and children. That is the post. What they don't tell you is Mr. Bennett, who is also, to his credit, trying to drum up his career. Mr. Bennett is picking on Mr. Williams, who's a much higher profile artist than Mr. Bennett.
Yo, hold on. I got to break this down, man. You know, we late in the program, so if they stay the whole length to watch this when they just coming on later, they'll understand how valuable it is. Yo, when they said that Mr. Williams, right, we're not even going to say allegedly because they saying that he actually said it. So when Mr. Williams said, if I didn't love the way you take care of your mother and your sister, I would body you. That's gangster. In other words, the beef ain't that serious because unaliving is not that serious to me. So to unalive you wouldn't be nothing. But to put your mother and your sister through the loss of you taking care of them in the manner that you do, on the strength of that, I'm not going to bother you. So that means that the next person was thinking, it's not that serious, this beef, because I'm doing this because I got music out and I'm trying to get my thing up, but I see that I'm playing with a gangster and you just full warned me that if it wasn't for them, you crossed the line, I would have bodied you. If y'all don't understand this or think this is hard, heartless, cold-blooded or whatever, you on the right track, man, to being a productive citizen. And that's what we trying to make you at Unique Mecca Audio. Because in the street, I'm going to tell you one, right? I'm going to ride. I'm going to tell you one. It was a dude I was beefing with, right, back in the day, right? That was about Thursday, you know what I mean? I'm beefing with a dude. I'm at Disco Fever. Fat Cat just went in. Grandmaster Flash just went in. You know what I mean? You know, everybody went up in that joint, you know. We up in there. We live. We turned it up. Cold Cross Brothers. Busy Bee. You know what I mean? Everybody up in there. You know what I mean? Grandmaster Flash and the crew. You know, Grand Wizard Theodore. All names you don't know. But this was our YSLs and Epithet and Lucci and all that back in the 80s. But we go up in the Disco Fever. They got a red background where the Supreme Team even took a famous picture. Welcome home to Prince again. Welcome home to Prince. Round of applause to Prince. Round of applause. All right, relax. Yo, hit that like button, man. Hit that like button while I tell this flashback. Welcome home to Prince. I didn't have the pleasure of running into Prince doing the bid. So I wasn't on the compound with Prince. But when Prince went to trial, Prince is home, so someone is going to show this to Prince, and Prince would know what I'm talking about is official. You know what I mean? Because this is how official I am. This is how official Young Thug is. While the Supreme Team and Prince and Harry Hunt, that was my man. That was my heart. And I'm going to say a big, and tears coming to my eyes. Rest in peace to Harry Hunt. I love this brother with all my heart. He's a soldier. He's a warrior. He's everything you could ever dream of. He came out the Supreme Team. And Prince, once again, I'm going to give you a round of applause for it. I'm going to give you a round of applause. I know this is a long show, but I'm just being me right now, right? Big C, Prince, they was all on trial over there in MDC, Brooklyn, right? Prince was messing with a girl, you know what I mean? You know, that was his friend. We're going to call it that. I don't know how far he wanted to go. But Prince knew a young lady by the name of Tawana. Prince, you remember Tawana, right? You know, with the red Camry, she got caught up on Pistol Pete case for sex, money, murder. Y'all know Pistol Pete, just to show you I'm connected to everything. That's why these rat bastards, they hate to see me on YouTube because they can't find no flaws because the streets know my story. Tawana, Prince, right? Make sure y'all get this to Prince. Hashtag this to Prince, cut it, make it a short, whatever you want to do. Let Prince see this, right? While Prince and Big C was going to trial with the rest of the men over there in the Brooklyn courthouse, I used to take Tawana to the hotel the night before, and in the morning, Tawana would say, "Take me by the courthouse. My man got trial." I'm like, "Who?" They said, "Prince from the Supreme Team." I said, "Yo, Harry Hunt on that case. That's my brother. Prince is his big homie, so, oh, most definitely. Come on, we go over there." So I took her over there to the courthouse, but you know, I don't go in no courthouses. That's bad luck when you're old gangster for you to go in the courthouse. You know what I mean? Unless it's for you. Just keeping it 100, just like we ain't supposed to really go in no prisons. You know what I mean? So if I go visit you in prison, you got to be a comrade. If I visit you in prison, you got to be a comrade because I'm violating the code. But it's not that type of violation. It's a code that I gave myself, right? But I would drive her down to the courthouse in Brooklyn, MDC, every day and give her $500 cash so that when she go in there, she could buy Prince and them whatever lunch they wanted, because this may be their last meal. So Prince, you remember when Tawana was coming to see you? Remember when Tawana was giving the lawyer money for the lunch? Well, that's what she told me she was doing with it. But, you know, that was to make sure that y'all ate because I felt your struggle, my brother. I've always checked up on you. In any jail I was in, all I heard was honorable things. I just wasn't blessed to run across Prince in the federal system. But me and C, we did a number of bids. I could tell you a bunch of stories about C. If y'all want to hear some stories about Big C, let me know. If y'all want to hear some stories about Big C, but we need to pick these likes up. We got 12,071 likes in the back that y'all can't see, but we only got 3,200 likes. Pick these likes up, man. Pick these likes up, man. Hold up, man. I'm getting ready to get pissed off in this joint. You know what I mean?
Cheers, cheers, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Now, let's get back to this, because I was getting a little emotional.
At that time. And Mr. Bennett is saying that he slept with Mr. Williams' fiance while Mr. Williams and she are a significant couple, that Mr. Williams' music is awful. Nobody should listen to his music ever. Mr. Williams responds by saying, "We can do an album together if you want. Stop this." The man continues of how he's sleeping with Mr. Williams' significant other, and then Mr. Williams responds by saying, I would have killed you except for what you do. That is the context that they don't tell you about.
See, what he's saying is, right, dude sleeping with Thug's girl. Thug is like, "Yo, forget her. I love her. You love her. We love her. It's one box. We share the box. Let's not kill each other over this and jeopardize everything we have. Let's do an album together and put this aside and move forward, and we both eat and we both feed her. Because Thug is going to give us something. You know what I mean? He going to give us something. So Thug is being straight gangster on this. Y'all might not understand this, right? Let me ride. Right? I'm dealing with this girl, right? Now, you know, I'm dealing with this girl, and while I'm dealing with the girl, she got a man. I pull up on the block to go pick her up. Me and her sitting in the car, got the top down in a wide body BMW worth about $120,000, and he come walking up, just gets off the bus, and he sees us sitting in the car. He stands over the side of the building. I see the way he's looking. I pull out the 9mm, and I'm ready to blow his face off, just for the way he's looking. Just keeping it 100, you know. So while he's leaning over there, got a 1 foot up, got his pants leg, one leg up, the left leg rolled up, got the left leg on the wall, and he's sitting there, got his arms folded like I got mine, and he's looking at me. I pull out the 9mm out the stash, and I'm about to get out the car, and she touched me and told me no. She gets out the car. He walks up to her. I get out the car, and I sit on the car. And I say, "Excuse me, you going to introduce me to your friend?" And she called me over, and she introduced me to dude. And when she introduced me to dude, she said, "That's her friend." He looked at me and said, nah, that's my woman. I said, family. She's saying friend, you're saying woman. Until y'all get an understanding, anyone is going to come in and do what they want to do with her because she's doing her thing while you're claiming her. You can't claim something that's not claiming you. Now, let's keep it 100, homie. You hitting it, I'm hitting it. We both hitting it. It's going to stretch back. Do you feel any difference other than your feelings and emotions hurt because you know what's going on? But do you feel any difference in the box when you lay down to it that you wide open on? He looked at me and I could tell he was thinking, but he didn't want to answer. I said, exactly. I ain't gonna dog it out, homie. And I started laughing and gave him a hug and said, yo, dog, she treat me good. I know she treating you good. Stop the bull crap. Being that he walked up, I gave him a little 500. I said, man, go take her to Red Lobster or something, homie. This our girl now. And if she's happy dealing with you on the side, I ain't got no problem with it because that means that she'll bring you the headache of her feelings and emotions. Cause I don't want to hear her feelings and emotions. I don't care what she's thinking about. I don't care what she's hurting about. All I care about is her satisfying me. That's how I go on the street for you ladies. If you don't like it, that's the way it is. So when you get with a dude that's cold-blooded as me, that means he's from the street. So when you meet a dude that's cold-blooded as me from the street, don't sit here and start talking about I love you, you minds, and all of this crap, because I don't want to hear it, because I'm only yours while I'm with you. You're only mine while you're with me. But when we leave each other, you do what you want to do, but you make sure you protect yourself and don't bring me back nothing, and I will do the same. Now, let's get back to this sentencing.
And Mr. Williams did nothing to Mr. Bennett. In fact, the evidence would have shown, if we had time or we would have gone forward, that Mr. Bennett and Mr. Williams are on the red carpet receiving awards in California, sitting right next to each other and taking photographs. This is not the Jeffrey Williams is a known person who is all over the place. If he did something, somebody wanted him, they can find him. This is not he's not hanging out on Cleveland Avenue. What the state is saying are not true. The situation with Mr. Bennett, so he's in the Fulton County Jail, and he's housed, and there are crazy, sick, violent people, and they're on the phone, and Mr. Myrick, M-Y-R-I-C, is calling other people, supposed co-conspirators. How much will Jeffrey Williams give? He doesn't say that, but that's the theme of it, as well as Christian Eppinger. What the state doesn't tell you is that when Mrs. Sumlin is asked, hey, find out how much Thug will pay me to kill Mr. YFN Lucci, Mr. Sumlin says, I don't know his number. I can't get in touch with him. He doesn't talk to me. And that's because, Your Honor, since 2015, and he means no insult, but Jeffrey Williams has had zero contact with Shannon Stillwell until this case, Kenneth Copeland, Demikian Garlington, Justin Cobb, Demise McMullen, Mr. Sledge, Mr. Murphy, all these people. This is a lie. This is a 100% lie, and that's why we tendered a NOLO plea to being a leader of a criminal street gang. Mr. Williams is not a leader. In fact, if it would go forward, on Mr. Huey's phone, there are conversations with Mr. Copeland. And they both say how Jeffrey Williams is a zero, an F him. And they don't talk to him, and Jeffrey Williams never does anything for them. Mr. Huey, Mr. Williams met later. He met him closer in the time of 2020. Mr. Huey's father went through a horrible episode that Mr. Williams knew, and that's how Mr. Williams knew his son, who's Mr. Huey. And Mr. Huey's on hard times, and Mr. Huey's making mistakes. And Mr. Huey, supposedly, Mr. Williams believes, armed robbed a man named Chandler Durham. D-U-R-H-A-M. Mr. Durham is Mr. Williams, and he's a fabulous record engineer. And Mr. Williams states, give him back, tell him to give back the property or he's going to die. The state puts that as an overt act. No one dies. The property doesn't get returned. Mr. Huey ignores Mr. Williams. The state told you today that Jeffrey Williams sent Mr. Huey a posting that Mr. YFM Lucci is going to be performing on January 19, 2020. That's not true. Mr. Huey sent that to whoever phone that was. And all it says is slat and slatty. Well, I went out to the places that Mr. Bennett was supposed to perform. There's no shooting. There was no fight. There was nothing to report. There's nothing here. In addition, the state says same thing on September 12th, September 2nd, 2022 on Mr. Huey's phone. I'm not conceding that was Jeffrey Williams even having a conversation with him, but even if it was, it doesn't show anything. It says slatty, lay low. Lay low means don't do anything. Get out of the way. That is what it is. That is Mr. Williams' role. Mr. Williams, there is evidence in the record, and there would have been more. He takes people on tour with him. He takes people in the mall with him. But when they do crime or do things to people, for instance, there was a prostitute, and several people gave that prostitute money, $500. And the prostitute, at the end of the $500, getting $500 from several people, had sex with a person, and then she was armed robbed. So all the money came back. Mr. Williams wasn't involved in that, but he heard about it. He made those people find the prostitute and repaid her every dime. People stole from stores that Mr. Williams found about.
Yo, hold on. I gotta break that one down. Yo, you know what he said? Did you hear what Brian Steele just said? Did you hear what Brian Steele just brought up? Right, let me translate that, right? I'm gonna translate that picture because you know we all been through it. They made a $2 hooker, right? Everybody run up in the hooker. You know, everybody had their way with the hooker. Not promoting it, not saying it's cool. I'm just telling this story as the journalist. They meet a hooker, everybody run up in the hooker, everybody give her a little money. She get the money, she just knows she goes, she gonna feed the kids in the morning, she gonna put money towards her tuition, because back in the day when I was on the street, a lot of them was doing that, you know, stripping and, you know, hooking and all that other crap, right? They was doing that to pay their way through school, or to take care of their children, or to take care of themselves. That's what the purpose was. They looked at it like a job, right? So she had all these thoughts in her mind. She got all this money. Oh, man, he gave me $1,000. He gave me $1,000. I got $6,000. I'm going home. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. She laid on her back and she thinking, while he jumping up in and out of her, I'm going to take my baby shopping. I'm going to buy my man a new pair of Gucci's. I'm going to give my mama something. Got to give mama something. And she's saying all these things she want to do with the money. And then after all that, when she's ready to leave, what happens? They take it all back. Now, that's what we call in the hood grimy. Not gangster, grimy. But they got grimy in the hood, and you got to know that. They spent all that money. Everybody jumped in and out of her, had their way with her, co-violated her, all that. Not saying I agree with none of that, because that's a total disrespect, but she willingly did that for the bag. And then now they rob her for the bag. And then let's say she go to the, you know, C-site for power. That means the cops. You know what I mean? And she reported. And then now they go looking for them. And then now they say she snitched on them. But she got robbed. What do y'all call that? Put that in the comments. See how fly this joint is. 3 hours, I'm still keeping it going. Sit back. So you heard that? They all got with her, jumped in up and out of her. Each person gave her a little money. At the end, somebody took the money back from her, so the money came back to the crew. They laughed at her, smacked on the butt. Get up out of here. We got this. All right?
He went to the stores, and he repaid all that. He didn't steal anything. He doesn't need to steal anything. Your Honor, Mr. Williams stands with Elton John. Elton John called Mr. Williams the next coming of John Lennon. Mr. Williams is unbelievable talent. He's not just a rap artist. In fact, when he's interviewed in 2017, he gives a statement and he says, I had to learn rap. He grew up in a house learning other forms of music. He likes all music. But rap hit in his community, and his community raised him. They supported him. They came out to him. They made him get into establishments, and once the establishment saw all the people come out, he got more establishments. And then he went out of that little area in Atlanta to other parts of Georgia, and then to all the neighboring states and throughout our country, and he has performed on every continent but one. He has performed in front of, being the headliner, 300,000 people at one time. He has a real life and career. He is not the leader, and he is not worried about buying jewelry that is stolen. Mr. Williams is actually innocent. I'm not trying to corrupt our plea. That's his plea, and he's entitled to it, and he wants it, and he embraces it. But to me, this is a wrongful prosecution. This is outrageous.
All right, so you're pleading guilty, or your client is pleading guilty to counts 57 through 62.
It's all true.
Do you
Yes, there's a
concede
factual
there's
basis.
a factual basis
I
for
can
those
see.
counts?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay. All right, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. And Your Honor, I'll answer any of your questions, but the point I'm trying to make is 45 years to serve 25 years in prison, when just this morning it was a probationary offer. It was a probationary offer. The state knows, but they want to control. They have this theory of music, and they want to stop Mr. Williams from making music, from entertaining, just stop his life. That's just not right. And it's wrong of the district attorney in Fulton County to do that. If they offer probation, then he's not a 45 to serve 25 years in custody type of person, and he's certainly not the person that the state has stated in front of the court. What we're asking, Your Honor, on count 1, which is the RICO count, to accept the nolo contendere plea. Please sentence Mr. Williams to 20 years to serve 5 years in prison commuted to time served. Mr. Williams has served, as I said, 22.5 years. On count 56, Your Honor, that's the leadership of a gang, nolo plea, 20 years to serve 5 years commuted to time served, consecutive to all other counts. On count 57, which is a gang count, Your Honor, not a leader, guilty plea, 20 years to serve 5 years commuted to time served, concurrent with count 1. With regard to count 58, which is possession of, I believe it is marijuana with intent to distribute, 10-year sentence on probation, concurrent with count 1. On count 59, which is violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of codeine with intent to distribute, 5 years on probation, concurrent with count 1. On count 59, Your Honor, which is violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of cocaine, 3 years on probation, concurrent with count 1. Count 61, 5 years of probation. It's a firearm count, consecutive to the other counts, consecutive to before count 56. And then count 62, 10 years to serve commuted to time served. That should be a total sentence, Your Honor, that we are respectfully requesting the court to consider. I believe it's 45 years to serve 5 years in prison, commuted to time served, 40 years on probation, credit for the time already served and commuted time served. As I said, after 3 years of probation, the probation becomes non-reporting, and after successful completion of 10 years on probation, the balance of the sentence be terminated. Mr. Williams asked the court for house arrest for 3 years as part of the sentence, but house arrest specifically defined that Mr. Williams will be in his home or at any lawful employment, touring, studio, performance, business meetings, and the like, wear an ankle monitor for the first year and pay the costs of same, and the company must be approved by probation department, and the ankle monitor to be affixed within 10 days of hopeful release from custody. Mr. Williams cannot possess a firearm, but he can be around licensed security who are armed or other persons who are lawfully carrying a firearm with a license. And that would be knowingly for Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams can transfer probation outside the state of Georgia. He has residences in the state of California. He has studios in the state of California. Mr. Williams be allowed to travel throughout our country and the world for lawful work-related industries. Mr. Williams wants to perform. He's going to do this anyway, Your Honor, but we made it part of the sentence. At least one concert each year at a venue, if they'll have him over holding 10,000 people, if that is workable for the venue and Mr. Williams' management, and he is going to donate all of the profits that he makes to a 501c3 charity. Mr. Williams wants to pledge $100,000 for the next 3 years to the Fulton County Sheriff's Office if they will hold an illegal firearm buyback to buy back firearms that are not supposed to be on our streets. Mr. Williams does not wish to go near the Cleveland Avenue area, not to insult that area at all, but it is just not a good idea under this circumstance. And he can drive on the highway, but otherwise not come within 1 mile of the area that we call Cleveland Avenue, and we can give the exact dimensions of that area. Mr. Williams must perform 100 hours of community service per year for the next 3 years as designated by probation department. Mr. Williams can associate, and this was agreed to previously, with people who are convicted felon or alleged gang members solely for lawful purpose of making music.
I see Ms. Love shaking her head, and I think it's fair to establish that until the entirety of the negotiations were agreed to, it was all up in the air.
Sure.
That may have been something y'all had already hammered out, but it wasn't. It's not anything they're bound to.
Absolutely.
Fair. Okay.
I agree with that. Mr. Williams can have no contact with any of the supposed victims, and there was an Exhibit A attached to the state's proposed plea agreement, negotiated plea agreement that was sent to you, so we adopt that Exhibit A, but we can give it to the court if you need those names. And Mr. Williams have no contact with any of the co-defendants in this indictment, with the exception of Mr. Quantavious Greer, that is his biological brother, as well as Mr. Sergio Kitchens. He's a phenomenal artist. He goes performer known as Gunna, G-U-N-N-A. Mr. Williams and Mr. Kitchens are contractually obligated, and they frequently perform music together. Your Honor, any other conditions that this honorable court deems appropriate? I want to thank the court for all your time, always. I want to thank Ms. Percival for everything she has done. I want to thank Mr. Williams for allowing me to stand with him. I really never thought we would be here, but this is his decision. I want to thank the Honorable Keith Adams, who may want to speak, Your Honor, but I can never imagine a better lawyer than Keith Adams.
Mr. Adams, do you want to add anything to the record?
Your Honor, I don't know that there's really much to add. Mr. Steele has represented to the court, I think fully and thoroughly, the breadth of our knowledge of the case, Mr. Williams' background. I think the court has not just heard it from Mr. Steele, but has had the opportunity to sit here and hear some of the evidence and kind of get a feel. You've had a chance also to observe Mr. Williams and then get a feel for him, his background, and so forth. You know, the only thing I can say about Mr. Williams that hasn't been said is that he comes from an area. You might have heard throughout the course of the trial that there was an album a concert tour. We came from nothing. And that is true. Mr. Williams came from, I hate to use the word abject poverty, but that really is the case. Came from an area where there was a significant amount of crime, where, as you've heard, he's had tragedy in his life and has observed tragedy in his life, and he has gone through a good bit. He has been involved in a lot, but he has raised himself up. He has done the best he could and has done phenomenally well, and is, I think, an inspiration to a lot of people from that community who look to him and see the success that he has gained, and have been fully supportive of him. But he finds himself here. He is in front of you. He is tendering this plea because he accepts responsibility. You have heard everything that Mr. Steele has had to say. I can only ask that you follow what we have put before you. You also have, I believe, the paperwork that was given to you by the state, which kind of gives you some idea of what they were looking for as well in terms of conditions on Mr. Williams if we were to have reached some sort of agreement. And we ask that if you feel that there is anything within the state's proposal that might be appropriate in terms of the sentence for Mr. Williams, that the court please feel free to do that. There is nothing that he puts himself before the court. And I think 2.5 years sitting, going through this process, challenging the process, but now standing before you and asking that you consider everything and sentence him appropriately in the way that we've requested. I'd simply ask you, I'd join Mr. Steele and Mr. Williams in asking you to do the same. And I thank you as well, as Mr. Steele did, for your patience with us and for bringing some order to the proceedings that candidly was needed. So that's all I have to say. I thank you again, and I ask you to consider everything that's been put before you.
All right, Mr. Williams, is there anything that you want to say?
Yes, ma'am. I take full responsibility for, my crimes or my charges. I want to say sorry to my family, my mom. My mom got 11 kids. I can't say all their names, My managers, my kids that's not here. Really everybody that got something to do with this situation, I want to say sorry for just having so much time invested into this, and I am a smart guy, I am a good guy, and I really got a good heart, I find myself in a lot of stuff because I was just nice or cool, and I understand that you can't be that way when you reach a certain height because it could end bad, and it don't really have to have nothing to do with you, but it could end bad, and it could, fall on you. And I know the choice is yours, it's up to you, and I hope that you allow me to go home today and just trust in me to just do the right thing and never see you again unless it's at a bar in the future or something. Just out of this type of situation, I promise you I won't ever be in this type of situation again. I'm going away. I've learned from my mistakes. I come from nothing and I've made something and I didn't take full advantage of it. I'm sorry. Through these last 2.5 years of my life, you are really, truly, honestly, the best thing that has happened to me because you made everything fair for me and everybody involved on both sides, I'm sorry to the sheriff, everybody for just having to put extra time in. I know y'all got paid more money, but I'm sorry for y'all having to put this extra time in to be away from y'all family, and I just hope that you find it in your heart to allow me to go home and be with my family and just do better as a person. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I am. I know the heights I've reached. I know the impact I got on people, period, in the community, all people. I learned that late, these past 2 or 3 years of my life, I kind of learned that late And maybe it was because I was, you know, probably on drugs or anything, I don't know. But I have came to my senses and I understand what I mean to this world. But I am a good guy, you know. I don't mind doing stuff like, you know, like free shows, and I always did that. You know, I did free shows and gave it to single parents, millions of dollars. You know, I made $1.8 million on a free show, and I gave it all to single parent charity. And I did like 2 or 3 shows that made like $700,000 a piece, and I gave it to the breast cancer organization. Like, you know, I do things. Like, I put millions of dollars back into my community for real. I really did. I did more than anybody ever did from my side, you know. But I understand, you know, rap lyrics. I understand how it could be twisted. I understand what it could do to the mind of people. I understand all that, and I promise you I'm 100% changing that. You know, it's just, I'm older, I'm grown now, you know, and it's just like, I'm smarter. It's more things to rap about. Like, I've experienced a lot of good things. I experienced more bad things, but I experienced a lot of good things too. And anyway, I can go forever.
Well, I appreciate it. And I appreciate that you do realize how much of an impact you have on people. I mean, it's past your neighborhood. It's worldwide, especially young people. And having come up from where you came up from and living in and around that.
Yo, hold up. I got to stop this, right? I got to stop this because as I was listening to this, I'm going to cut this down because it's a long video, and I know people don't sit here this long. A lot of people just coming in. That's why they're here. The numbers is up to 17,000. The likes is only 3,300. We need to get the likes up. But I'm going to say this right now, right? What Young Thug just did by talking to the court, not a disrespect to him, not a shot to him. He get 3-gun salute. What he did by talking to the court, I wouldn't do. I refused to do. But we was in 2 different circumstances. I had 330 kilos of crack cocaine they were sentencing me to. That was mandatory life, so I knew that wasn't going to work for me, right? But then now I turn around and I had to stand in front of my judge and ask him for some type of leniency. We need to get these likes up. So hit the likes while I'm telling my story. When the judge asks if you have anything to say, that's your time to say I had a hard life. I witnessed XYZ. I was raised without boom, boom, bop. And that's why I became the villain that I became, to be standing in front of this courthouse. But after sitting in the cell for 2.5 years, I realized the things I did was wrong. I could have told my judge a beautiful speech, but it would have been straight bull crap. All I cared about that time was bettering myself. That's where I'm a little different than the average gangster. I knew I was going to get life, so I just asked the judge to send me someplace closer to home where I could further my education. I went in the prison system, got a little angry, allegedly, you know, poked a couple of police, then went to ADX, served my 5 years in ADX, came out of ADX, went to Allenwood. When I went to Allenwood, it was like crazy when I went to Allenwood because I had 5 years clean conduct from sitting in the Supermax ADX where they got a chapel at for 5 years. So the case manager was saying, oh, anybody could do 5 years clean in Supermax. We need you to do 5 years clean out here on the USP compound. So I'm telling him that's a total of 10 years you want me to do before I go to a medium when I just gave you 5 years. And he said, yeah. Then we had a new warden come. I'm going to make this a whole video by itself, prison story. Then we had a whole new warden come named Jake Mendez. When Jake Mendez came, right, he had a son, little Jake Mendez. When he came to the joint, he was a convict warden. We have what they call a convict warden, and then we have, you know, a warden. A warden is one that don't give a crap about you. They just listen to everything the police say. And a convict warden is the one that listen to the convicts and go on what the convicts say, because he know the convicts are the one that got live here. They here all day, so they gonna give the real how they're being treated by their officers. And I know a lot of you rat bastards look at me here treated by the officers, because you might not even thought about it because your brain only this big. But that sounds like maybe they were telling the warden something. Yes, there was expressing to the warden the conditions of the prison that we had a right to have that we was not being allowed to have, because we fight for our rights. We got brothers that fought for certain rights before us, gave their lives for these rights. So when it's time for us to get them, we can't be silent and not say anything. We can't sit back and stand for anything. We have to be willing to continue the fight. That's how it is on the inside. We're the ones with the fire that burn. That's why they grabbed us off the street and put us within the inside to slow us down, to get a grip on where we at mentally, emotionally, and warriorly. Because they know we're warriors, because we came from Africa. Regardless if our parents been here and we was born in the United States, we're warriors. That's what they feared the most. So you understand where I'm coming from. So now we got us sitting in there, and we got to think, where do we go from here? And that's where we unite. So when you see the brothers in Chicago that rolled on old block, or from old block rolled on the next block, whatever it is that happened, it don't even matter. That's how the Europeans look at it. It don't even matter. Bottom line is they're going to put them in their system. When they put them in their system, they're going to start eating mackerel and tuna together at night with a cup of soup. They're going to start making meals together. They're going to watch the movies we play together. But yet when they was out there, they tried to unalive each other. Y'all figure that out. I give y'all the best content. That's why my Cash App is on the screen. Make sure you hit the icon that says it was created in 2020. And my Instagram is on the screen. Follow me at Instagram. But I want y'all to understand that it's hard trying to survive being a black man and trying to live up to the standards of now what social media call. We all want a Bentley. We all want a big chain. We all want a big watch. We all want a pretty girl on our arm. We all want all this crap that they show us on social media. Like back then, they showed us on the idiot box. Oh, excuse me. I mean the TV. That box was created to control you. They tell you how to think with that box in front of you. That big fancy Samsung or Sony, top of the line, whatever you have, all the way down to the little ion, you know, whatever they call it. It's an idiot box to control you. I think I might be getting a little too deep right now, so I'm going to just back off that and go back to the sentencing.
You know that gangs are damaging to our community, and it may be that a whole lot of rap music and the rap industry is, I mean, honestly, it sounds like a modern day version of kind of WWE wrestling that used to be on television, where people would just get up and posture and act like they hated each other. And it may be that that's a lot of what is going on in the music industry with rap. But whether it is fake or not, it has tremendous impact on kids and young people who think, this is cool, this is what I want to do, look at him, he's a millionaire. I can do that by being, you know, a gangster in the streets. And that's not true. What you're likely to have happen to you if you're a gangster in the streets is you get shot, you get killed, or you get thrown in prison. And those are, you know, by far the most likely outcomes.
Yo, thank you for the membership, Dwayne Pauly. Thank you for the membership. Thank you for all the Cash Apps. Thank you for the, the super chat. Thank you for the likes, but we need to get them likes up. They free, man. We got almost 19,000 people in here and 3,300. Let's get these numbers up, man. All right?
And, you've been in here watching the trial, and you've seen the pictures of Mr. Ryan posing with a gun as big as he is at 15 years old and going out and shooting and killing another teenager. And that's what gangs do, and that's unfortunately a lot of what rap music does. And if you are a modern day John Lennon, he might have rapped too in this day and age. I don't know, but I know you're talented, and even if you choose to continue to rap.
Undercover News, thank you for being a membership. Undercover News, thank you for being a membership. You're going to get all the latest content before they even aired. And we're going to put up stuff that we're not going to put on a regular joint because they're not going to pay me. Because the game is to be sold, not told. I'm going to give it to my members only, and it's not going to go on a big platform. All right? And go to Unique Mecca Audio TV. Subscribe at Unique Mecca Audio TV. I'm going to be doing something over there real unique, too. Let me do what I do. All right?
You need to try to use your influence to let kids know that that is not the way to go, and that there are ways out of poverty besides hooking up with the powerful guy at the end of the street selling drugs.
Thanks for the subscribe, Christopher.
I know that happens for protection sometimes, but
Christopher Williams,
a
good
much
looking.
better way would be getting an education and hanging around with people who set a good example. And you be one of those people that sets a good example. All right, so that's my high horse on that. I could also go on. But I want you to try to be more of the solution and less of the problem. All right? All right, so it is not lost on the court that the state, had they been able to come to agreement on certain special conditions, was willing to entirely dismiss the RICO count, was willing to entirely dismiss one of the gang counts, and was willing to entirely dismiss this, machine gun count. Was willing to give a sentence that permitted Mr. Williams to walk out of the door today, and therefore does not seem to be particularly worried that Mr. Williams, if on the streets, would be a danger to society. I'm taking that into consideration in crafting my sentence. And in permitting a NOLO plea to the RICO count in one of the two gang counts, I would not be permitting the NOLO to the one if you were not pleading guilty to at least one of them. But you are, and y'all admit a factual basis for the counts that you are pleading guilty to. I find there to be a factual basis for those counts, and for the remaining counts with which you are charged. I am going to impose a sentence, and I've taken a little bit of the suggested special conditions from the defense and a little bit of the special conditions suggested by the prosecution. On count one, the court sentence is 20 years to serve 5 years, commuted to time served, the balance of 15 years to be probated, and a $25,000 fine. On count two, the sentence is 5 years to serve, commuted to time served. That's the minimum sentence that's permitted on that count. It is required to be run consecutively. I'm going to run it consecutive to count one, but I am going to backload. Oh, I'm sorry, that is not commuted. That is 5 years to serve, and it's going to be run consecutively to count one, backloaded, by which I mean after you serve your 15 years of probation, if you have been successful on that probation, and I sincerely hope that you are, then at the end of that 15 years, I will commute the entire rest of any service portion of your sentence to time served. So I'll get to the end of it and give you the total sentence, but I'm also going to impose a $15,000 fine with regard to that count. Count 57, 20 years to serve 5, commuted to time served, the balance of 15 years probated, concurrent with count 1. Count 58, 10 years to serve 5, commuted to time served, balance probated, concurrent with count 1. 59, 5 years to serve, commuted to time served, concurrent with count 1. 60, 5 years to serve, commuted to time served, concurrent with count 1. Count 61, 5 years to serve, that is required to be also a consecutive sentence, so that's going to be run consecutively to count 56 and backloaded. Count 62, 10 years to serve, also required to be served consecutively, that's going to be consecutive to count 61, also backloaded. So essentially, the total sentence is 40 years to serve the first 5 years in prison, but commuted to the time that you have already served, followed by 15 years on probation, followed then by the backloaded 20 years, which can be served in custody and will be served in custody if you are not successful on your probation. If you are successful in completing your 15 years probation, that will be commuted to time served. You are to remain on reporting status for the first half of your probation, active reporting for the first 7.5 years of your probation, and that is pursuant to OCGA 17-10-1, subsection 2, A2A. And Mr. Steele and Mr. Adams, in order to keep him on reporting status, there needs to be good cause shown. We all concede that good cause is shown here?
Stipulate.
All right, I appreciate that. Special conditions of your probation.
What good cause? What do they mean?
Can I have a second, Your Honor?
Sure.
Let the judge. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You had enough time to talk with your attorneys?
Yes.
Okay. All right, special conditions of your probation. After 48 hours from your release, you are to stay away from the metro Atlanta area, and that's defined by the U.S. Census Bureau. It may change, but you can look that up anytime to figure out what that is. For the first 10 years of your probation, subject to the following exceptions, you are permitted to be in the metro Atlanta area to attend any wedding, funeral, or graduation from high school, college, or graduate school of any of your immediate family members. And immediate family members is defined the same way that you all were contemplating it when you were negotiating. You can get here up to 24 hours prior to any such event, and you need to leave within 48 hours after any such event. In addition, during each year of your probation, I'm going to require that you come to the metro Atlanta area and make a live anti-gang and anti-gun violence presentation 4 times a year, each year of your probation, at a grade school, a middle school, a boys or girls club, anything like that, that type of group. And if you want to, that presentation can include a benefit concert, and these presentations may count towards your required community service hours, which I'm going to impose, that during each year of your probation, you perform 100 hours of community service. You are, and this is required by the fact that there's a gang conviction. You shall not knowingly have contact of any kind or character with any other member or associate of any criminal street gang. Exception to that, if your brother is a member of any street gang, I hope you talk him into getting out of it. Quantavious Greer, and then also Sergio Kitchens as long as you are contractually obligated to him. That is going to include anybody who is named in this indictment, except as absolutely necessary to conduct the lawful business of your musical career, and to any extent that the state is not agreeing to the exception for Mr. Kitchens. In the event that that part is not enforceable because it is only a portion of a special condition, going to provide that that be severable from the rest of this, and I'll put some case cites in the Senate sheet for that. You are in no way to promote any criminal street gang or any criminal street gang activity, including on any social media platform. You are not to utilize any hand signs, terminology, or language that promotes any criminal street gang. You are not to participate in any criminal street gang activity. You are not to knowingly engage in any contact with any of the victims that are listed in this indictment or with any of their family members. And you may not have in your possession or with arm's reach any kind of a firearm because you're going to be a convicted felon. And that is, except I know that you have security and you need security. You can be within arm's reach of a firearm that is in the possession of either licensed law enforcement or licensed security personnel that are in your security detail or anybody that you're performing with. You are to submit to random drug screens and not use any drugs unless they are prescribed for you by a licensed physician. You are to execute a Fourth Amendment waiver that will permit the search of your person, residence, vehicles, and electronics for any firearms, any criminal street gang paraphernalia, or any illicit drugs. And as I mentioned with regard to one of the first of your co-defendants from this trial, at least since I've been involved, to plead guilty, our Uniform Superior Court rules instruct and provide that it is absolutely proper for a judge to grant leniency in sentencing when, quote, the interests of the public and the effective administration of criminal justice are served, unquote. And I think that this plea is in the interest of the public and in the interest of effective administration of justice. Have been trying to ensure that to the extent I can, this trial also abides by that. It's been challenging at certain times. I find your plea to be freely, knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily entered with an understanding of the consequences, and I accept it as such. I also need to inform you that your attorneys were going to represent you through either the last day of this term of court or 30 days from now, whichever is later, and any of the filings that were mentioned that need to be filed within that time, they would file on your behalf unless they are permitted to withdraw from representing you before that time. I am not going to impose the conditions suggested by your counsel about the benefit concerts and the donations to the sheriff's office, but I certainly strongly encourage you to do those things and to do and continue to do things that benefit your community and especially help young people to stay out of criminal trouble. And unless there is anything from counsel other than that.
I have one matter, Your Honor.
Okay, and does the state as well?
Your Honor, with regards to Mr. Williams being permitted to come to the Metro Atlanta area or Cleveland Avenue area for funeral or the other items,
right.
Can you also consider, God forbid, there's a serious medical condition of a person that
in
is...
his immediate family,
yeah.
certainly, we can add that. And I also meant to mention, because I know you do travel all over in order to pursue your career, that it's permissible for your probation to be transferred to out of state, and that has to be done through probation, but that is fine with the court. And you may also keep your, nobody's mentioned it, but keep your passport and travel out of state and internationally to the extent that you need to do
Made out
that
like a
for
bandit.
business purposes as well. All right, Mr. Body.
Yes, and very briefly, thank you. The district attorney just wanted me to urge the court, due to the fact that the Thomases have been negatively affected incredibly traumatically by what has been discussed by both parties here today, to make a brief statement as she believes that they fall within the exception or within the bounds of Marcy's law. If the court would allow, I understand the court made a ruling earlier as it relates to that, but she wants to.
All right. Thank you. And I appreciate, well, I cannot even begin to understand what they must, anybody must be going through when they lose a family member to violence or criminal violence. Mr. Williams himself has expressed his own sorrow to the family. I, again, am going to stand by my belief that the appropriate time to hear a victim impact statement from them is at the close of the trial that contains the murder count with regard to their family member. All right, thank you. Okay, court is adjourned. Good luck to you. And I'm going to have there better be no violations, but if there are any, you're coming back to see me. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey, you're
Toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in hall. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. Did not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never swill until the cops make an audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the night. Drop top beamer so shine. I let shorty go, she was wine. Treat her like my past, she behind. Spend a couple bands on the dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. Baby horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now you trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yard. So we can give back to the